from Tim Godfrey, live on ETV, live on Happy 98.9 FM, featuring Nathaniel Bassey and Tim Brown. The song brings out a lot of things that we easily take for granted most of the times. We entered into the brand new year. We're all in church on the 31st. We prayed and we asked God to usher us into a brand new year. But you see, there were things that had been laid out. There are plans that had been laid out. There were traps that had been laid out. Even on the 31st, when you were driving to church to go and pray, there was a plan to take you out. When you were moving from church back to your house, there was a plan. There was a frustration that had been put in your path. And yet, you sailed into the year 2023, and just because it didn't happen, just because you didn't see it, just because you didn't experience it, you take it for granted. And so you think it's all easy. You think it's all cool like that. But it may not be. Most of the times we are quick to praise God and to thank God for the tangibles, the things we can see and feel. Oh, I got sick and God healed me. And that's what you want to thank God for. Oh, I was nearly involved in an accident. You saw it with your eyes, so you're able to thank God for that. But the things we don't see with our naked eyes, that God is always protecting us from, those things we don't usually thank God for. But it is some of these things that we should be thanking God for our families, for our children, for our loved ones, for our businesses, for our works we do, and for the pleasant people God brings our way, even for the good health we are enjoying. And I pray, ever happy morning show so many things in Yankopon Yamayan, Yan Fasida, and from more trade Yampo, Yankopon and can say, I do know why you know. Say you're not dumb and the humo bra, and no more ye and free mo. Sometimes you're afraid new hunin, you only say, oh, a normal, a casual, Okodaya was sorry, you know, a normal, a casual, will be Okoda, unless ye dear drew a one, and son with me, and son with me, Katanani, will be what da. I just see a one draw and son with me, sorry. Will be Koda and poor and sorry, PM. A run new year, and one sorry, PM. But you, it's simple, it's easy for you because unfeely. And I pay your rifle for him, young fast that and more young coupon. Near country and we say, the see more hour for 2020 when young coupon adding such a by a brabomo. Medo say, so do if you didn't put at her. Meeting at the simulation and check any ACP retired Victor Tando, a bidding common. You wrote 70 tidbits no, or their home and some ever brain. You better also now after your day a year and community channel as you saw headlines of the newspapers. Now after your day a year sports update kakra Abraham for trends kakra Abraham for near Bora and some new moon. Say, who are Kodano or University and now, Nene Agin Guinea and Casa. And they say, the universities have increased their fees by 15%, and this has become a matter of concern for the students and then for parents as well, especially seeing the hard times we are in. Prices of commodities, prices of goods and services are up. How are parents going to cope? But the Ministry of Education, Eddie Ababonte, said, school be charging more than a year 15%, you know. One more year, one more ebenyasem. But is it the 15% that the students are worried about, or is it beyond the 15%? The students are concerned about the 15%. But the universities are explaining that, look, 2019-2020 was supposed to have increased by 5%. Yentimi and Tumu, because of COVID-19 in Sensemunti. Yashelvia over a period, 2020-2021. Some media, Yentimi and so cost of living no affected a schools no, and so we have to increase it. And I pay Nina a we happen as well. Yedi and more and come our happy morning show. So na a babo modern na yedi a year in 70 biakano yedi abre oman for and pay old medians because in 70 brain. National Cathedral Sobakaya it featured in the budget and some 80 million had been allocated towards the National Cathedral. And one more a service. Na one more service ni mo no emu nsem ekopiepie one more chirichiri mo senya wo musika no one more use no maka say it should be a priority of priorities for us to build a cathedral. One say by the time omampani na nado dan kwaku for the baby ne government ne de na yesidan no e de awie anapai ni nyina ye bobo ho na ebisa ho say should it really be a priority where government money must go to yedi eho enkomo mo fidie no enda ha yena ne eho na yemfa ye road city tibet no embrado for Yo, Yanko Nafe Yanfa road safety tidbit no embre oman for and pay Reverend so crab ewa homani so yeneno edin komo last year getting to the latter part ACP etu kwano onwa any bejine mu ma na and pay yeneno and share say Reverend and pay yemo kwaba eba happy morning show as well na impromo hori Reverend eda they say yo Reverend and pay road safety any nam
yo that chile yo that's it mama fan chat here and not with you for now na obibiara akoshaka after the that's so everything that obiara ahwe you so ye especially e wa kan so kwano so ebe it's also my time papa ATP tando onyame onyame kese that's and and okay the character as well for as for a country for passenger for any president for United States ewie mu Africa na ohwe to the ewie mu aye no ayesa akwantu for ono sedio emetumi aka ekon ese afa ebe mi se wo say fogi aba na matan eyinani ade ache de enso ayefe de ewie mu aye kushu takwa ase eshu takwa ewo ewie and you want more to find especially our money to function, money keeping council, not private council, one more people say cheap, economically, one more whole side, you know, the stress, it would be around the money highlighting higher edna, not after one man is speaking about form. Not what would be any or money and down you are. As I said, to the Rimayan, one very head commission, a bayajuma, high way up country. She best written, a good year and I say, a little beyond slab, a non party piano, almost more than for them, and TB, a can't be here. And I can't tell you, you're being a mental so let's say, a year colorful, I very pretty, but you will say a bit more and them sound of play, never young to say, before they ewu ewa kwanto ewie mo to dia ye no enye kura nta 24 ye na enye afi ye no kase gidi say na deploy police for dada na wo munam nkwa je besre obi biara de biara no biara se we ahotire bi no ewa ya kwanto for mo dey say the player bin the bia police for ewo bibi ewie kura no okada for helmet ni ehun yin papa se de ewie mu aye no be stress be say we me wa hwe bu protective gear na wa sa reflector e be mat na ehun yi be ji say ye eniama we ye betumi atu kwan na ya ko na ya ba na ya ko so aye jojo e ma anything atrase se de e ka no road safety is shared and collective responsibility. Be your own safety nipa betumi adiabo ho ho ya kon road safety ani to na mo no wa ya hwe yi me de wie kwa no na baby accident ni bi ewa no dey answer dey no emmo enya me show you
yo Reverend anapay ebedo ase for your road safety tidbit out the abe yento so na fe emfa headlines of the newspapers no and brother for. And welcome back to the Happy Morning Show. As I say, the headlines of the newspapers no ebre adofo anope moha na mene Fati Shaibu Ali and na ewo ahanum say Fati good morning.
Good morning, Sammy.
Na mpom ti say. Yeah, I about jumano de. Jan eti ha ye jumano. Yes, Jan eti ha ye jumano. But se bibia ko ye de ma ho.
Yami adum.
I say, click here now, or check here, or yeah, checks it and click here.
But ever click here.
Nah,
Ebefa.
no one's a bit too much.
And the woman
Me who need because the cover is we're room deeper. Deeper. Oh, jam.
Your friend.
Let's say,
Daddy.
now, is here our hairstyle, your friend is saying?
No way.
Zoom closer, my because the hairstyle won't capture the
But oh, that person.
Oh, some person
we say normal play.
You see the Rasta man na be mo akasa.
Oh,
See the
normal,
na ko footballer na.
Oh, first na me bobo.
Huh?
First na me bobo.
Now what position be?
O striker. I'm a striker. Asana anko ye no. And I'm the military media.
Ah, oh, okay. Makami case na achewa na.
Debut.
Isu na asafofo ne amakom for your match. Na akoto ye jersey na ya paint numbers na gu ni bibia. Nti ye kodru honom ne ye koba match no stadium. Nti kodru honom no the captain ne ko afẹ DJ Mayanga. Nti ye kodru honom Mayanga hu se nkofo ne captain ye oba. You know, hey, I know, say, hey, captain better ke captain. Seven me captain. This is match from start to time again. Who's
No, bobo asa no mo ye.
Yeah, you know
So, interest.
Oh, interesting to know. What's captain better ke captain? Number 7 better ke number 7.
Yes, I want to say.
Oh, that's it. The kugo de befi. And I want to quiet. No kugo fi. Anyway, your mother for Akwaba, your mom for your official park. Ray, official park, Akwaba, so.
I think come back to you. Officer said, I feel what's the sabi bia?
Na me mbasi sabi.
What's the sabi bia? Na I feel there. I say, but to me, I say I join 3 wise men.
David, 3 wise men. Need to be joined. I'm going to be a picture now.
Yes, that's what I'm going to oh, now, sir, no pay a baby, sir. I say, a new year, I baby. I said to me, champion for back on you.
Oh, me, and I'm in a fatty church champion for you now.
Oh, sir.
A church champion for you now.
And I am to ask because the same opinion for.
Say,
now, a chair, you know,
I had a.
What's your monka?
Oh, Debbie, what's up, monsieur? And you put the end of the chairman as a bit me as well. Maybe I will reinforce it.
Okay. And I know pay a beshasi and a beshasi from SIGA, Director General, State Interest and Governance Authority, Ambassador Edward Boati, and Opay Bibia will be in Chiakesi and a come out. Now, I'm a free I'm a bassinia. I say it's a senior catcher. CEO Global Media Alliance, Mr. Ernest Boati, and Opay in Chiakesi and a come out Bibia will be it's a beautiful ways. I mean, in Chiano, media ba. Now, a cabacqua, no, I say fatin the tomb. It's a fatin the tomb we are. Now, I feel you say a champion for New Year.
Now, I even say too fast.
Oh,
too fast.
I mean, sorry.
Yes,
sorry.
Too fast.
Very important.
Yes, very important.
Very important.
Very important.
It's an
I catch and last quarter, and then I said, it means sprint.
Yeah. It's an OP. See you, Mellow Farms.
Yes.
Edwin Amankwa, Bibia Obiano, in Chiakesi and the come out. Now, livestock now descending with Christmas. No, Mr. Canning, it's a Sidakesi, so come out. Now,
we have creative problems. I'm pay you.
Are they?
Livestock,
livestock. And now they're dead.
I'm by Mr. Manager. I in the chief. Asida kese na osusuno yede ma ene nchia kese na yede ebro ewo dwumedi no eso fati nchia ne bi ho ana se yewie Raymond for message ne to aso ne ncha se nchia no say carry message
oh omo ne bibia deda
sa
it's self explanatory
okay all right that's fine
yeah train
okay all right and ncha se na no pay no yemfa your website www.happyghana.com yemfa embre omanfo adentina
no some newspapers no
o say the website na sha say and now the newspapers ne catch us say they will resume in next week
They will resume in February.
Andy can come very soon.
Andy can come.
2020.
When you recover from shock, no.
Andy can come. Andy doesn't come on month, sir.
But this year, no, Sasso spray na.
Me person before no, it be so on
the daily guide, Ebesha say.
Okay.
Ashanti MPP openly boots for Ashanti MPP openly roots for Baumia's presidential bid. No, new rates for agents at port take effect. Nana comment work on National Cathedral. 5 more companies caught in tax default. Use economic challenges as a stepping stone. Indicted DVLA officials in trouble over corrupt deals. Suhum MP dashes sewing machines to dressmakers. Sasso and a new job in South MP support constituents with free shopping, health screening. Anadom Press sponsors WASI student to university. When you know a story sa oko daily guide ubenyebi akai.
citynewsroom.com anope okopiemu ewo ho a stories ewo ha ebi enie. Latest increment in fees justified. University of Ghana management. Government has spent 339 million Ghana cedis on National Cathedral project. Secretariat and Omodisa Assembly Aba. Reversal of benchmark discounts. Importers, exporters call for consultation. Let's trust God. Economic quagmire will be over. Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. Sorry. Let's trust God. Let's trust God.
Yes.
Maybe I don't know.
But the battle has been the Lord's all this while.
I see.
Yeah.
Let's trust God.
Yes, we are trusting God.
So I mean, on him scripture way. God will not do by miracle what you fail to do by responsibility.
It is not in the scripture. Please.
So I mean, say, God will not do by miracle
I think now, Okasa.
what you fail to do by responsibility.
Indeed.
It's Munja trust God,
Indeed. Indeed.
Munja can go ahead.
Bible neka say ensa enye adwuma no.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes.
So if you don't put your hand
Yeah.
to the plow,
Yeah.
forget it.
Yes. Churches, Christians must help complete National Cathedral Secretariat. Yanto also, blending certain foods can harm your kidney and liver. Nutritionist warns. Blending certain foods can harm your kidneys and liver. Nutritionist warns. It is, I mean, certain fruits, no, medibeba.
Yeah.
AGI decries bottlenecks in acquiring lands for industrial processes. Let's pay our taxes to develop the country. Joyce Aye. It's time we make systematic efforts towards self-sufficiency. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Odisa Assembly Aba. Alliance for Science Ghana urges government to invest more in science. And let's be hopeful. God will make 2023 better. Alan Tremantin to Ghanaians. It is, when you know, 624 fires recorded in December 2022. Ghana National Fire Service. Ghana Health Service to review COVID-19 measures as cases saw in China. Nina Sema Nopi, Utume Ebura citynewsroom.com. Ubetume Akai na Sami Asemno Bakwa Abano Nanka Pesem who fruits no. But I say more famba into Yanko in him.
Yo,
specifics.
Specifics no. Yo, Yantos in for Daily Graphic, Mo and Sam and Broman for and Daily Graphic saying country say adjustments in user fees include suspended fees from 2019-2020 University of Ghana and Kasa Seminum. Be hopeful 2023 holds a lot of promise. Alan Kujuche Martin and Kasa Seminum. Nigel Gazy and his New Year prophecies from Republic of Umofia to a Republic of Yempe Nokre and no Honum. May this new year open the pathway and bring us to the cusp of building the Ghana we want. Former President John Dramani Mahama and Ekasa. It may be dangerous for leaders to stretch patience of Ghanaians. NDC and Ekasa and Chairman General Mosquito has come to stay. Domahene sings for Esiedu in Ketia, and we have created more jobs than any other government. Dr. Bawumia and Ekasa Assembly, UN Secretary General Antonio's New Year message, captured in video, and it's also Honoma. anɔpa Daily Graphic ɛde abrɛn ɛwɔ dwumadi no ɛso.
So I mean, I would also Domahine sings for children.
I see in Katia.
Otunyum.
And there's a video, I think.
Oh, sir.
Yes, there's a
Domahine
video.
and Kasanka.
Yes, there's a video. Send them the crew in this year.
Oh, I see.
Send it this year.
Otunyum man.
This year and what new man.
Oh, I see. I see.
Chronicle newspaper. GREL provides potable water for Ejumako and Patase communities. Court orders deportation of 2 Nigerians. GIS promises transformation through power of digitization. We air stories are Ubenya Ewo Chronicle newspaper no emu.
Yo, Ray.
Yeah.
My member fee na men call Ghanaian Times. Na men fast stories ni bi in free Ghanaian Times and bre omanfo anapani nyina muni e ka says afi and ado fidi na to anum sia. Bombodi an so be ko Facebook, Twitter, any Instagram no follow age media no e wo honum na so de kakra abon ho na de akokrom. I'll deal with bad MMDCEs, Ashanti Regional Minister, and Kasa Semno. Omo asanso edia to honum. Omo say uphold journalistic standards. President Akufo-Addo and Kasa Semno women. I know so you be interested in this story.
Yeah.
Maybe story no I should call, but the person so about nina 5 million I spend a World Cup no emu ensema now pay a breakdown last year.
Yeah.
VRA Awaje holds Thanksgiving service and no honum. Takwa Nsawam MP feeds 420 widows. Diaspora engagement policy in the offing. When you know stories are underpaid. Ghanaian Times at the Abrain Ojmedino.
And Mama for Daily Graphic and Chato.
Mama Daily Graphic that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, and that's Samasa.
Eba.
And the young international now.
Google News na yemfa stories are no pay. Media must ensure NDC does not ride on the pains and fears of the people. NPP ena ekasa way. University of Ghana justifies current academic facility user fees. When BBC visited the Ghanaian world's tallest man, and also Ewo Honum, so and other stories are Ubenya say every political party has played a role in Ghana's development. Reverend Opinifrim Pong and ekasa way. Foundational work of National Cathedral Project completed and no ewo honum 2023 100 most reputable Africans. Nana Jane Hayward Mills Jonah make the list. Watch IGP Dampare preaching about destiny and God's plan for man and also ewo honum. Hohoi NDC embarks on health walk, donate to mark December 31 and no ewo honum. Bola Ray pledges 1 million CD airtime sponsorship for Black History Festival in 2023. Child prostitution increases by 40% in Koforidua, MP lament. Government has measures in place to turn things around. And no Ewo Honoma Trade Minister Alan Chematin Eka. Let's pay our taxes. We can't borrow our way to development. And also Ewo Honum. So it's time we make systematic effort towards self-sufficiency. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo ena Eka Assembly. Yo,
Yemfa aye stories in free CNN.com. Mbre omanfo anapay na oko aye CNN4 website. Stories are on any NFL player Damar Hamlin collapses on field as in critical condition. And almost a CPR was administered to the player on the field before he was driven out of the stadium in an ambulance to a local hospital. Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin collapses during game. And it's like a constant gamble. Ukrainian couple awaits birth of twins in wartime Kiev. And an ex-Trump aide on January 6th. We all look like domestic terrorists now. And Jeremy Renner suffered blunt chest trauma, required second surgery for extensive injuries. Prince Harry tells Anderson Cooper why he's not stepping out of the limelight. And also a man for bit me I can kind be Fatty watch almost serious now.
No.
A man for bit me I compare and national man should be it's quite revealing.
Yeah,
Oh, so one more about Monsem, Megan, EBPMO, na senior treatment, is a course or any one sense. Baby, is only the baby.
Was I one sided story?
Oh, senior one side, na Matty. One side, and a Matty.
Which would you say? Story, would you?
Oh, Miss one side, and a Matty. One side, and a Matty.
Why? Is it your story?
One side,
It's not your story.
So,
It's
I'm
their
kind of
story, and they want to tell
now
us how they want to tell it.
studio.
What's up, I saw how they are. Becca?
BBC.com and open stories awaha ebi enie. Russia plans prolonged drone attacks. Zelensky and all this assembly about 4 dead after Australia helicopters collide. McCarthy struggling for speaker vote support. French Oscars ban anyone accused of sex assault. What can we expect from Kim Jong-un in 2023? More MEPs could lose immunity in EU bribery probe. Earth, Wind and Fire drama dies aged 67. US returns looted ancient green coffin to Egypt. Thousands pay respect to ex-pope at the Vatican. And arrest over deadly Uganda New Year fireworks crash. And a jail for Senegal MP who kicked pregnant colleague. Sema ABPM ha na same hu sa fight no.
Tabio.
Oh.
Yeah, I am fine yet, right?
Na debate no ekoso na ntokwesi ye. Na nyagro. The two opposition MPs no have been given 6-month jail sentences for kicking a pregnant colleague in the stomach during a budget debate.
Parliament.
It's left to be seen, but I mean, it shows I'm running age more baby. Age more baby. Yeah. It's a stories on BBC.com.
Reuters News: Cholera death surge in Malawi, keeping schools closed. Strike over pay paralysis transport in the Tunisian capital. So, an Italian energy group Eni says it has set up a new company dedicated to sustainable transport. And no court in Senegal sentences 2 lawmakers on Monday to 6 months in jail for assaulting a pregnant colleague on December 1 during an acrimonious parliamentary session. And also, United States drops Burkina Faso from its AGUA trade preference program, citing deep concerns over unconstitutional change in government in the West African country. We stories are Oko Reuters and Opea Ubenyebi Akan.
What's an open weather updating the paper for?
And then
Because one more and resume.
Nasa
yes.
meteorologist.
Yes, baby, there be only the mean trust no. Mean trust no with said Maui say. My main forward and no
Earthquake now we are there.
Well, I had what an idea. Fatima the baby man for. One more Emma me just a second. I mean for what an embro man for and a pain. Well, Fatima baby. Yeah, Jumane bra oba. Me the weather no updates.
COVID-19 updates, and to us. So active cases. 6 confirmed total cases 171,048. New cases 2, deaths 1,461. Recoveries and discharge 169,581. Menkoso. Menfa a year and summer air trendy embre iti for any for a year and 3rd January 2023. Marriages #air trending. Now, head pastor of the Glorious Word Power Miracles International, Apostle Isaac Owusu-Bempah, and where he prophecies be at home. Now, prophecies in Obakon say there shall be lots of marriages in 2023.
Amen.
Now, I say prophecy no on my year 31st December. Yeah, him say during watch night service be no. There are some prophecies no. Etumu APMY a day echo into the year. Now, He added bad news as well. Or say, accidents could be rampant this year, but if people pray, if the nation prays, God will release fire from heaven to cure these accidents. Now, also Eka say a National Road Safety Commission no, it was so much to me a appeal mo game na omo ema education no emu ayedin. He also said that lots of policemen will be lost unless we pray. Otherwise, they will be lost through exchange of bullets. I quote or say a prominent person will travel to seek medical care but won't return. But as to who that person is, when to me and Bonipa no edin. Commented by no ebi any David essay. These false prophets have built a system together with the fake politicians. It's a system. Betty essay. I tap into this blessing in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Mariam essay. Is there any year that people don't marry? Abuna essay. Amen. Mine will be among this year. Akosia essay. Finally, I'm getting married this year too. I'm definitely in this prophecy. Philip say, hey, then let me position myself well. Ben essay. I don't remember a particular year there was not a lot of marriages. So, Esinam say, on behalf of all single ladies, we receive it in Jesus' name, even if you are telling lies. If one Mazak, so I say, I'm utterly shocked. How can you tell this prophecy? Which year hasn't witnessed a lot of marriages? And also, if one my Archbishop Duncan Williams, trende, na Archbishop Duncan Williams, founder of the Action Faith Chapel, na ono eno say he will be over 100 years, and sa Yankopon ebeton sa freno a free assassin so. Na eno so ekopiemu ewo 31st night service a omo eye ewo asori honum neho, and Archbishop disclose he said, not even God can call him to eternity without ono ni permission. He is reported to have said, I quote, every year you are losing the years. I am 65 and I will live for 100 years. Yeah. I am going for 100. You can look at me and say nothing, but I say 100. Amen. At 100, I will determine whether I will stay or leave. If I will leave 100 and I am 65, how many more years do I have to go? So I have spent more years than what I have left. And so many of you have spent more years in this life than you have left to live. And what have you done with the years you've spent compared to the years left for you? And quote, comment habano ebi enye. Kamasa say, when people start talking like this, their time is near, so close. People will say it's sentimental, but it's beyond it for someone known to be a staunch believer of Jesus Christ and preaches about heaven. Pabnasik, someone cannot pray for his son to follow God is bragging about. Someone who cannot pray for his son to follow God is bragging about death. Even things that he can control, he couldn't control. Prince, if this is true, then I urge Duncan Williams to apologize to God as soon as possible. It is nice to utter words of faith, but always remember that God is sovereign. Moses is dead, Paul is dead, John the Baptist is dead, but the counsel of God endures forever. Ask for mercy and live a healthy life. Take good care of your body, because this life is a misery. John essay, I know as believers we have the right to determine what comes to us, but what happens to heaven? Is there a place called heaven for believers to yearn for? Why should you stay all that long to embrace it? Oscan essay, when angel of death knocks on your door, tell him that he cannot do focal and that you will call him when you are ready and feel like dying. Appear essay, God is even more happier for your claims, Papa. You go more than 100 years. If you want my global economic crisis, so ehun Abba, na the International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, and I say 1/3 of the world's economies are expected to be in recession this year. Now I'll say a year 2023 it will be tougher than 2022 for most of the global economies as the United States, European Union, and China see slowing growth. So and Osai Eka and say, I quote, tough year. 2023 will be a tough year with 1/3 of the world's economies expected to be in recession. Why? Because the three big economies US, EU, China are all slowing down simultaneously. Okay, so that's the way our brother could PM CBS program be a friend Face the Nation. Comment by no ebi any. Nick Papo essay. Take send them for Jubilee House. Kwame say as usual, another prophecy and Hamza say, is she our maker? David essay, since when did IMF become a prophetic church? And sir and a comment etia and a year trend ABC.
Yo, your mom for back to the conversation. Nina, university students and some already story was sitting issue with me. I can't add a mamma. Many a beji a university student a woman 18 issue a 15% adjustment a fees was one etiano and more ensigns. Some Nancy. You say the Ministry of Education had information about our universities are one more are tempted to charge more than the 15%. Parliament are approving for these students to pay. No, one more are reverted back to the original 15% at the ASEM Ebeba, and so they will take the necessary actions against the universities. You know, students and so are also crying. Say 15%, you know, is even much too high for them to pay. And to way I am command pay. Esi Japaneswa yedi enkomo.
Yeah, so I mean, Anope University of Ghana Management and omode justification kaka about almost say story they say latest increment in fees justified. University of Ghana Management. The University of Ghana has defended the upward adjustments in its academic user fees for the ensuing academic year beginning January 2023. Management of the school says fees charged for the 2022-2023 academic year are legal and duly based on approved fee levels as authorized by Parliament. This comes on the back of agitations by some students that the margin of increase is unbearable as it's way beyond the 15% approval given by Parliament through the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. But the university authorities in a statement emphasized that the University of Ghana has adjusted fees for the 2022-2023 academic year upwards by 15% based on the gazetted approved fees for the 2019-2020 academic year. GTEC weeks ago directed tertiary institutions to review fees for the next academic year by a maximum of 15% increment in all public universities for 2022-2023. But the allegations are that some public tertiary institutions are charging about 50% of the current fees. The University Students Association of Ghana has already kicked against any attempts to disregard the parliamentary directive and describe same as insensitive. It is, I mean, the full statement, you know, to Senabeya, Ubiabe to me, Atiasia, the Ama or take his decision. Into me akabia or say justifications ni binim adjustments in academic facility user fees at the University of Ghana. First one they make reference to 15% now to me or say in 2019-2020 academic year public universities including University of Ghana were given approval by Parliament to increase their fees by 5% cumulatively based on 2016-2017 approved fees. On 27 January 2020, the university received the approved and gazetted fees from the Ministry of Finance through the then National Commission of Tertiary Education. This was in the second semester of the 2019-2020 academic year. After, the university had already announced fees for that year. By this time, it was too late for the university to implement the new fees. Na Otoaso Ekase.
Before Ode sa breakdown of my no, yani inyam Dayan Green ending komo one a coordinating secretary Emma Yusak. They had protested the 15% a year adjustment. No, in your morning company Bizazani Bianum. State of affairs no at saying after say Parliament approving 15%. No, Dayan, it's good to have you this morning on the show.
Good morning.
I'm hoping that you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
All right, so the issues about the 15% increase in your school fees, what's the state of affairs presently?
Hello?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Yes, please.
I was asking, presently, what's the state of affairs with respect to the 15% increase?
So far, we have seen since the release, we went to see GTEC about some schools taking more than the 15% cap. We have seen other schools dropping the more than 15% fees they released to the limits to which Parliament approved. And then we are seeing that some schools have started doing the release by taking it to the 15% cap. But other schools are still, I would say, as at yesterday, still have their fees increased up to 15%, more than 15%. And so we are going to embark on writing to the management, the SRCs, to remind them that there's a cap on the fees. No matter how it is, no matter the reason, the cap should be 15%, and that is what we are fighting for the students, no matter the reason, because we all understand that the country has suffered a lot with that last year, and then we are hoping for the best this year. However, inflation is high, we understand, but it also puts burden on students as well, and so the burden should not just be shifted on students. So what we are fighting for is that every school is within the 15% cap. And then schools that do not conform to this, we are going to write to GTEC, inform them that this is what is happening, so that they can write to them and do the right thing. So far, we've seen school dropping a new release up to the cap, and then we are actually making progress.
All right, so give us a sense of some of these institutions which earlier were going to charge beyond the 15% and have reverted to the original 15%, and those who are sticking by their 15%, more than 50% as we speak.
Okay, so Amstead was more than 15%. Amstead released their fees more than 15%.
Okay.
But recently, as we speak, they have actually released the new fees, and then it's within the cap. It's up to 15%.
Okay.
We had UCC to go as high as 67%. And as at now, we know that it's up to 15%. And then there are other schools too doing the right thing. And yes, every day we are getting a new release. We are making our investigation to find out that it's within the cap.
Now, earlier you had raised concerns as an association about even the 15% that we are talking about now, that you are not for it. Is that to suggest that you agree to the 15% that Parliament has approved?
We understood the situation. We had meetings. We told them what we wanted. We told them if it could go down. I mean, the 15% was high, but they had to explain to us. And then since school was about to reopen, we had to fight for that 15% cap, so that going forward we can know what to do about it. But our first stance was not in approval of the 15%, but we had to compromise. We had to understand. That the nation is in a quite difficult state, and so if the universities have not received, do need money to run their administration, we understand, but it should be 15%, and then going forward, we will know how to work around it.
I remember at the time one of the key issues you had raised had to do with the short window of notice to the students as to the 15% proposal at the time. Are students able to work around the space to pay that 15% that now you agree to?
Yeah, so we spoke to SRC to speak to their management so that students can pay half. So now they are paying half of the fees, not 100% payment, not full payment. So then half of the fees, and then later the semester they can pay the other half.
Interesting. Now let's talk about other matters. Is it purely all about, the school fees, or it has to do as well with other things that you be paying, hostel facilities? As we speak now, are they also up or they remain same?
Yeah, exactly. The 15% cuts across residential and then academic fees.
Okay. That is those traditional halls that we are referencing, right?
Yes, traditional hall specifically. Traditional hall specifically.
All right, but I was also making reference to the private-owned hostels, whether you have had any feedback from the students as to the kind of adjustments that are being given them with respect to the rent, the hostel fees they have to pay.
Well, it's because they are private hostels. What we can do is that it has to go under rent control because it is not under the government. It's not. It's a private owned hostel, and so in order to control the fees they charge, it has to go to rent control. And so going forward, we also work with rent control to check the price they are giving to the rooms. We check the number of beds, the number of beds a room is supposed to have, and then the appropriate price that should be on it. Any exorbitant price, I believe that rent control is the way we can actually solve issues with private hostels. But the traditional hostels fall within the government's 15% cap.
All right, the final question before you take leave of us, Dayan, and that has to do with the University of Ghana. How much are they charging? Are they within the 15% as we speak now?
No, they are not within the 15% as we speak now.
And what steps are you going to take, seeing that it goes beyond the approved 15%, that they have given justifications and reasons why they think that the 15% is not enough for them?
Well, I believe that the justification doesn't hold. And so the best thing to do is that we are going to speak to them, we are going to write to them, and then have meetings with them, and then try to understand the issue and negotiate to make sure that they compromise for the students. Because with or without reasons, I mean, we all understand the current situation, so it should fall within 50%. The reasons they actually give, I don't believe it holds us at this moment.
All right, Dan, I will thank you for making time to speak to me this morning.
Thank you so much.
And that's Coordinating Secretary for USAC, Dayan Green, joining us this morning live on the Happy Morning Show. At least, Fatih, Yanya and Semnimu and Tasia Kakra. But remember, you were building a point about the reasons that the University of Ghana is given to stay their grounds. They won't do the 15% threshold that the Parliament has approved.
Though the gazetted fees approved for 2019-2020 academic year were found to be higher than what the university had earlier requested the students to pay for the academic year, university management decided to suspend the implementation of the new fees until 2020-2021 academic year. This was to spare students from a fee increase in the middle of the 2019-2020 academic year. 3. With the outbreak of COVID-19 in March 2020, coupled with its associated challenges, management accepted a plea from the students' leadership, SRC and GRASAC, to further suspend the implementation of the parliamentary approved and gazetted fees until 2021-2022 academic year. In effect, therefore, the University of Ghana charged students subsidized fees for the 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022 academic years rather than the approved rates. 5. Following all necessary internal consultations and approval by the University Council on 13 December 2022, the university announced that due to increasing cost of operations, it had become necessary for the university to implement the 2019-2020 approved fees. The statement also noted that the fees schedule published at the time were provisional and that amounts to be paid would be updated once fees for 2022-2023 academic year were approved by Parliament. Sorry. On 21st December 2022, the university received a letter from GTEC dated 16 December 2022 communicating that Parliament had approved an upward review of academic fees by 15% of the last approved rates. It is important to note that only previously approved rates were those gazetted in 2019-2020 and not subsidized rates the university had to implement had to implement due initially to late timing of the fee announcement in January 2020 and later by concessions made due to COVID-19 and plea of students.
All right. Wait, hold on 1 second. Your name, Mr. Emmanuel, also ending Kumai, Public Relations Officer Emma Grassack. Now, a few comments from him on this developing issue, especially with the stance that the University of Ghana has taken on the matter. It's good to have you, Mr. Owusu.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
I'm hoping you're doing well.
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. So this whole brouhaha about the 15% increase in academic user fees that the University of Ghana says it is staying not within the 15% boundary. Let me take your initial reaction.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to discuss this matter. First of all, let me establish that the universities have some powers to, impose certain fees which are approved by Parliament. Having said that, the universities also must also acknowledge that the students are the people who would pay the fees. So in deciding on whatever amount that they want to impose on students, they must also acknowledge that students also have a concern. So I want to stay. I would like to say that the posture that the university has taken is not helping. I think at this point, consensus building should be what we must consider, not a very strong stand that we will not go back on our word, and that and of course when that happens like that, it doesn't help anybody. You are rather preparing the grounds for chaos, because students may not also understand these things, and in the end, the university suffers. So I'll say that the stance is too strong. We must look at coming to a consensus on some of these matters and looking at the way forward.
So you don't find the reasons being given by the university tenable, reasons of, the cumulative impact over the years when they are supposed to have increased fees and have shelved it as a result of these same economic challenges that we are speaking about?
Those reasons are very tangible, but look at the timing. Fees are going up at the time when, you and I know the economic conditions that, the current economic conditions. Students have not been left out. As postgraduate students, we do academic research, and you know what goes into academic research. Sometimes you have to go for field work, find money, and go and do some of these things. So at a point when academic fees are being increased, our colleagues are not so excited about this move. So as much as universities have, costs that they must deal with, students also have costs that they must deal with. So I think we can look at these increments. Probably the next academic year, we can, deal with it in a more piecemeal approach than to do a lump sum, even though there had been some backlog in the past.
So generally, electricity bills are high. Generally, water bill high as well. Generally, cost of ensuring that lectures are properly catered for also going up. Whatever is happening to you and I as individuals also has a toll on the running of these universities. And still, you think that they should not increase by the accumulated fees from the past?
Well, probably maybe the government of Ghana must come in, because the universities genuinely, let me be very, very, what's the word to use? Let me be very kind to the university. Like you mentioned, other things have gone up. Water bill, light bill, all those things are important. But at the end of the day, who should suffer? Is it the students who must suffer for it? So, as much as the universities have a concern, we also have a concern. Probably we must all run to Big Brother government of Ghana to probably come in and give a middle wave so that the universities can, have some kind of respite in whatever they need money for, as much as so that students can also have some kind of respite in our spending, because spending, our economic cost is constant. It doesn't go, it hasn't gone down. So let's also remind ourselves about that fact that our cost is also constant, and it keeps rising, same as the university costs also keep rising. So what do? We must, come to a middle ground where both parties are happy. Students are happy, universities are also happy.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Usu, for joining me this morning on the show.
Very well, sir. Look forward to further engagement on this matter.
Indeed. And that's Mr. Emmanuel Usu, who is the PRO for GRASAC, Graduate Students Association of Ghana, sharing his thoughts with us. Yeah.
Final point, University of Ghana. In line with this, the University of Ghana has adjusted fees for the 2022-2023 academic year upwards by 15%, based on the gazetted approved fees for 2019-2020 academic year. Management therefore assures students, parents, and all stakeholders that fees charged for the 2020-2023 academic year are legal and duly based on approved fee levels as authorized by Parliament. This is na makai no tintin na tete ane se. Nanka wo se omo increase fees no 2019-2020. As per schedule the buyer no. But time na buyer no. Na omo de omo fees abadeda. And they didn't want to increase it the second semester no. Into omo jama ne koye.
Yeah.
Omo jama ne koye na COVID so bore mu. And our students say, oh, Nema Moya Din, Nema, and say, Omo decide they say, on bet in chance to be. Now, Omo the subsidized fees by some muntia. And for bears 3 years dear. Now, fees Omo charging subsidized. Sisiano, Nema Moya Din, among university. And say, Omo decide they say, they've decided that Omo review Omo fees no upwards. Nemum. And yet, subsidized fees now, mutia here for 3 years, no. Yeah, find say, I think they mentioned 3 years, no, that period, no. And yet, 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021, 2021, and yes, that subsidized fees, no, so no, on charge. Now, on charge 15%, no, on 2019, 2020, now, nanka approved fees, no, and on charge. Until the students are saying, say, 15%, it's beyond 15% now. It could be right, because the students would possibly be working with the subsidized fees no mutual in the last 3 years. No, but university in India said they've gone back to 2019, gazetted fee schedule like so mudiso no, and no, and I'm increment. They don't see any illegality in here.
Doesn't that make it like double increment at this point for the students? Because even if I say 2019, 2020, no, the gazetted figure, no, and as a percentage, was let's say 10%.
It was 5%.
And, okay, yeah. So it was 5%, and now the new one is 15%. So now they are taking 20%.
Yeah.
Is that not what it is?
No, what they are trying to say is say, start 2019, let us. They want to assume that they had implemented that fee schedule. What am I saying? They had implemented that fee schedule, and no students need to say but because of compassionate reasons, any timing of that particular gazette, I'm going to mean this, I'm going to mean and they are just going back to reinvent the way. They are just going back to 2019, 2020. They say, okay, you're fast after.
Now 2019, 2020.
You're fast after.
Now, yes, but technically, they could be right to say, say, approved fee.
It.
Yeah. Parliament, the bro mono was this amount.
Yes.
Until they are not disobeying the. Yes. 15% is what they are charging, but they are charging the 15% on that 5% increase now. Previously, now students in there was a mutiano. Yeah. But is it it's a very thorny issue to deal with, because all in school and so all university students, and so home. There are so many services that the school provides for the students. Yes, our internet provision, security, other non-teaching staff. Some of money in no a burden that is on the university. Electricity is the same, it affects them. So how do they pay these things when they know so music or free school for no intimi and bomb intimi entry?
Sammy, it's understandable. I understand the university, but what I'm also saying, say, the things in our university, I share, Eddie holding on to 5% increment. I feel that we even have it worse now with the current economic crisis. And why not stay on the 15% now against the Amuka say because of because now in the books of the students, they are paying 20%. What am I saying? They are paying 20%. Again, was there any sort of, make us a plan or explanation or something to the student said, this is how much we are supposed to charge you, but for the period of this time, your bedroom will say, but know that eventually,
it's only the compassionate grounds,
compassionate.
On the oil or don't only agreement be
for some students, I believe they would rather do 5 progressively than say on 20%.
But when we spoke to Diane, she made the point say almost spread it Sikano Edia Momo. And it's not the bulk amount of money and utia benefit by the time semester never can we no what you Edia home. So it's a very dicey one. For me, it's difficult to stand with the students, it's difficult to stand with the university.
Yes.
Because the school must run and run well. Yeah, well, say they are not getting the services. Imagine we wake up one morning and then there's been power outage for like 3 days at the university. Imagine how the students will behave. We say, Omako school for 3 days, no light. Omako school for 3 days, no water. Imagine the kind of protester. You say you protested and so it's a very dicey one where it's difficult to side with A or B. But I think that the Ministry of Education must, as soon as possible, intervene in this matter. One more push, one more issue statement, not a statement per se, PR no a grantee interview, no worker said. All universities must comply with the 15% increment. Otherwise, they will take actions. And so I don't agree to it.
The university has every legitimate grounds to charge what they are charging now based on the explanation that I have read. What must I say? And that's not the approach.
Yeah.
But the best thing the university can do is what they have done now. Say, spread the amount. That's the best thing the university can do at this point.
Yeah.
And we don't need to use threats to,
resolve this matter.
Yes.
But Sammy Fati, I think that you see, the university, if almost cost of operation, and based on that, I don't know my students, no, so many bioma. Sammy, and you try to convince the university or compel them to drop to fees no more charge at their own risk, because almost decided to drop here, then they risk shutting down at a point. And now they risk shutting down certain parts of our business. Again, you also look at student conditions. Parents in a bit Akitiano and Kosro. Inflation, Niama, Siciano, disposable income, the savings bit, as a Nina, you're consuming. Into Abediama, the parents who would be paying the fees. Their students are Omanka school Omoko Juma sent to fees. Also dealing with the same problem. It's a wedding. But would you rather have the university running? Now, Ube Tumiako, with some of the ABR provisions on 1 year, Ube splitting fees, Ube to have 50% now at your Diakano. And I say, you would want to pay the small fees for the university to close down. Which one would the students want? Which one would they prefer? Pay small fees, pay drastically reduced fees for the university to grant to a halt at a point in time. And I say, you'd manage situation. So I think, but it's baby I bedroom no. So baby I bedroom as a nation no. times are hard for everybody. A lot of businesses today have folded up because cost of operations say how. There are businesses that are making money, but sikana omojeno, omodo tutu cost of operations, they are practically breaking even. Yeah. Concerns. It is, I mean, students need na explanation na opinion for their ban because this University of Ghana explanation, as technical as it is, it is well within their right to do what they are doing.
Well, Ramon, it may be within their rights, but the other tertiary institutions now, at the time they also got an approval. Are they not also running the same year tertiary institution?
Oh no, sir.
Those who have reverted, those who have reverted to the original 15% using a year current rate, almost swear.
I mean, but you can't say that.
Yes, we may say they are autonomous, but Fatih say, our colleague tertiary institutions, women are conforming to this 15% increment.
I mean, the number of students are different.
Yes.
The kind of facilities are different. The courses they are running are different. Cost of operation could be different.
Yes, so we are talking population, but you say bia or encoda 5 or encoda 2. What you say? It may not make for logical, but let me just use it. 5 no ebia omoko LA. Now me 2 no ebia omo eko wa onim dada. It may be say me number ni sha. But the pressure that is on me. Yes. If we are talking courses, if you are talking population, if you are talking there may be other factors because you education for but I can say for most of the times a lot of the courses are virtually run in virtually all these universities. Courses are legally running. KNUST are running virtually the same courses. Law mo yebi, pharmacy mo yebi, medicine mo yebi. There are some even which have other courses that the University of Ghana may not even have.
Same one and they be out na haka say won't say obefani obibefani ma wa Accra eduko Kumasi is cheaper in Kumasi.
Too much to say.
Yes. It's cheaper in Kumasi.
Well.
It's a school no. Ebi omo koto Imaka. Omo koto Bibi. Kumasi is cheaper.
All right.
And you know, all the back, all the better to how much the University of Ghana spends to run their school now. I was searching how much KNUST spends to run their school. That's any nine factors or more. Can only the job 15 or 20%. How do you tell them to also go?
15%. Of Ghana, premier university.
What are you talking about? My Dr. Daniel Savite ending como a senior lecturer at Accra Technical University. Na engineer Juni Efan Kuma Kosu. Doc, it's good to have you on a pay which made in Sophie Shapa.
Yeah, sorry. Good morning. I think come back to you.
Now, in boom design.
By the grace of God, things are fine.
Yeah, that era there say. Doc, and come on, the FA students and Wamu fees also mutia and concerns about especially with the University of Ghana. Minister Munsumu University no tertiary institutions but your development at the same.
But online also ain't too clear.
But your Otimenka, but your clan who says there.
Hello.
Hello, Doc. But your Otimenka.
Yeah, Metunka.
Okay, but your name is 15% adjustment here by fees and school for no ebetiano. As a lecturer, for that matter, who is saying any responses, any feedback as students in the deba?
Yo, many of them metasi na wishi amwa mutie FM ina afishapa. Ye Bible say afi the other kosi. Sami o share increment na bana me feel say e bibia fair because we share the cost of running education, especially at the tertiary level. No, labor cost, BBA cost of running our departments in terms of the out of well. Makas, just a BBA in Wakumuha, you say Yamabo. And that do share for some time now, no, yeah, increase here and shut down cost. Until we're 15% now, but no. As a parent, I feel say a year a dim the as the way I'm near my board if really we want to run our universities efficiently, because share outside cost are buying in training each university student as compared to what we have here. And what we are supposed to put in training one student or university, the funding gap is so big. Universities be here to churn out graduates. I'm to me, I did Juma na amuho Juma no funding gap no eso. Now, so and if you get fund. Adding, say, about really get fund, Emma universities, no. Share even the release of goods and services. Sky say every year they might universities for goods and services, no. And saying so releasing, no, adding. Well, we share the cost of running our various universities now. No, Swala, Echo, and you're very careful now. Yeah, she say you bet me took a cut 50% every year. Then what will happen is that universities will be compelled to stick to the old fees now, Michiano, and that will be inefficient. You see, in terms of the way I deliver. You see, so I mean, say 15%. They are too slow. There are some parents that are doing some which here. But maybe I do know university education is very expensive, and it will take many work to support our wards among the various universities.
Opani, I'm trying to get a sense of what goes into the running of a tertiary institution. Forgive my naivety, but maybe I say, say lecture rooms here, you see that or honum, hostel facilities, traditional ones here, or hodada, mobile systems, more than that. More trucks, more than that, more pickups, more than that. Apart from electricity and water, I teach a farm much the market you answer so eba. And really, what goes into the fixing of these fees and any adjustment?
Sorry, when you're okay, I'm going to explain it. I would say, infrastructure and get our and we share your various universities. Every year, intake a cost. Na we are investing now, so we try to buy manada select hall and now select a theater mawa. See, want to be expanded, want to be admit students now or apply every year. So in terms of infrastructure, we need to expand. And in expanding, we cannot be waiting on government to other see we let a theater mawa. It is school fees now more year journey. A big echo into infrastructure development. A big call into maintenance. Say every night the electricity, your water, air supply. Just goods and services. It's something some person here say pa one fee. Say sorry. Top petrol good card, the bedroom. Just the daily expenses are including from part of the expenses are yes, like I say, with the technical universities, no, you say I buy offer compensation, and we are compensation, but say a ban infrastructural development, a ban say goods and services, run here. 60 each year. So it's like Ujifio Muncheng at the running the entire university. Now, apart from that, so share the BT say your facilities. Say most of the time, we call laboratories now. Even how to maintain the laboratories, Kualano, lab testing. Testing your money, just the practical aspect of we impacting knowledge, calls for additional costs. I don't say running technical education in Ghana is very, very expensive because every day, you expect they'll be hands on. So, it's very expensive body.
Doc, and I pay Ebedo Assiswa Jimbre now near Dinkomo.
You, Sammy, if you that say, that is sure.
You, Dr. Daniel Sabute, and Yanino Edinkomono, a senior lecturer at University of Accra Technical University, Yanino Edinkomo, Dinchi Chemukakra, the young student, Bako, a year, one of the tertiary institutions in Community in Business and Yabiano. How are they coping with the increments and how are they going to pay? What terms of payment, what arrangements are there for them? Ebi Kushi Omo betimi etua 15%. Julius, it's good to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning.
I'm hoping you're not paying here.
I'm here to more now.
I'm here to make you come 15%. My crowd is more betua.
Well, from all indications, every student union has agreed that the 15% increment is, though it is not okay, is something we can contain. So, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, so every student union, the National Union of Ghana Students and USAG, all of them have come to the conclusion that whereas the 15% may not be something we like, because ordinarily students would prefer that school fees don't increase at all, we can contain the 15% because given the circumstances in the country, we would have to choose between the universities being able to run or them eventually closing down because they are unable to make the necessary expenses they have to do if we decide that even the 15% will not be accepted. However, my view on this thing is that as student unions over the years, we have checked responsibility on the issues that are very fundamental to funding education in Ghana. And these issues, especially this free increment issue and the brouhaha it has come with, is a rude awakening for us to go back to those fundamentals and try to deal with them. Because they are the kind of cancer which is causing this every year headache that we are having. The issues are this. When it comes to funding of education, 3 entities come together to work to fund tertiary education in Ghana. I mean, the activities of these 3 entities. And one of those entities, let's say, is the big brother in the room, i.e. government, the universities, and students, or let's say parents. Government, because government is supposed to pay some subventions, and government has some statutory expenditures that it is supposed to release to the institutions to operate. Then the institutions also have modes of generating internally generated funds to operate. Then the students or the parents also pay facility user fees in the form of school fees and all these things, which help the institution to operate. So if all these 3 entities working together, one of them fails in its responsibility, what happens is that the ultimate user of the service, which is the student, suffers. So when we are having the conversation of fee increments and all those things, we cannot make it a one-sided conversation where we only look at what one entity, which is the schools, are doing by increasing fees. We must look at all the other entities, including governments, which are referred to as the big brother in the room. Now, over the years, Get Fund, for example, is supposed to make some discretionary releases to the institutions and some releases for infrastructure to the institutions. From 2017 up to now, Get Fund revenues, which are supposed to be 2.5% of the VAT, have been capped at 25%, which means when Get Fund is supposed to get 100 million Ghana cedis, Get Fund will now be getting only 25 million Ghana cedis, from which it is supposed to fulfill all of its obligations. Part of Get Fund's obligations is academic infrastructure, which they are supposed to support the institutions with. Last year, 2021, for example, the tertiary education sector got 175 million as the amount which has been allocated to them. 136 million was actually released to them based on the formula which was approved by Parliament. And we all understand that Parliament operates with a ratio when it comes to the distribution of Get Fund. So if with the same ratio they are getting 175 million, it means if Get Fund was operating at 100%, the institutions should have been getting 700 million to operate with. Look at the loss because of the capping and realignment. The loss is over 525 million to tertiary education allocation. That would have been that's the loss they are incurring because of the capping and realignment.
All right.
Then there's the issue of the delay in the release of their subventions and all those things. Then also, there's one important thing that we are not even touching. Get Fund allocates 10% of all of its accrual to Student Loans Trust Fund to support the students who are unable to raise money to pay their fees. So if you cap Get Fund at 25%, and now there's a loss of 70%, it affects that ratio that goes to Student Loans Trust Fund as well.
All right.
It means the 10% you'll be getting will be out of that 25% and not the original 100%.
All right.
So if
Julius.
Student Loans Trust Fund, can I make this point?
Yes, make the point. Let's wrap up.
Sure. If Student Loans Trust Fund is now being able to give scholarships to only, let's say, 1,000 students, it means ordinarily it should be able to give scholarships to 4,000 students. The losses we are making as a student body because of these, policy adjustments and, failures to stick to statutory obligations is more than the increments the universities are adding now. So
All
if
right.
we want
Julius,
to solve the issue
our time is fast spent. We would have to wrap up here. I'm grateful that you joined me this morning. Julius Anthony joined me. He's a former NUCS General Secretary, and he shared his thoughts with us. He's a student as well. On that note, we'll bring you sports update. Do kindly stay with us. Welcome back to the Happy Morning Show. As I say, your day sports update in a brother for Rastaman. I crowd our day a sports update in a very.
So as a sports no TF4 national for Omar Messi kakra.
Yeah.
Na badi na apa. Na onim opening kesi afre no Edson Arantes do Nascimento.
Yes.
The nickname there.
Brazil for champion.
Thank you.
Yes.
And yeah the final funeral rites in the baby. Nanka so more Brazil, but almost say na na frame say Nanka me took a but nyame adum yeah the update be
I mean correcting me make I say Brazil for champion.
Yeah.
He's the world's champion.
Okay, we have fun this.
Yes.
And then you are allowed.
Yeah.
Happy 98.9 FM and I was good so oh share so dia ETV Ghana and our show Jumedi no at the Happy Morning Show. I'm also the sports update kaka ebremo e Jumedi no so na Jumedi no e be share dia na e be share from the BetPawa Ghana Premier League na Jumedi no etumi ebremo e match day 10 and na final match of the round no etumi e so Cape Coast Sports Stadium a match day 10 fixture between Hearts of Oak and Ebuboko and Pechim United. Now after 90 minutes of pulsating football action, Hearts of Oak suffered a 2-1 defeat at the hands of the Hunters. Now Oshas and Ajumedi and there 6 minutes and a Sifas Mantea to make their first goal and Sana Hafiz Konkoni in the 13th minute no so at the second goal no pay so now dynamics of the game and both teams said to me a red card. Now Abrantia Inferno Enoch Suponte and a red card and Joseph Kimfo no so a red card Emma Pechim United Emma Robert Adusoa to me a pick consolation goal. I'm a Hearts of Oak 2-1, and I can see no to me a buy here. Hearts of Oak coach, I friend Zlatko Matic or the insem kakra etuja na Osha Matic insem or the tuja. I would say Boboko I friend Hearts of Oak no 15 minutes of the game ni there omo de chair na omo ye tactical mistakes na omo ma opponent to too much space say on operate na game ni there omo ye de on betumi aye bia na Osha the team na omo susa nti as the game progress no na as ehun kakra abehye omo na o say 3 points here omo lose there na cheap 3 points and omo lose na cheap 3 points and omo dey am opponent yentie there coach Matic edituja Emma Hearts of Oak.
Nobody like to lose, but we give to opponents everything today. First 50 minutes, they score 2 goals. We know they have good transition, but we make tactical mistakes. When it's open ball, when you don't have good defense transition, you must go back. We try to take the ball, we give them space. Also, they have one more chance, and they shoot everything we give them today. And after it's very difficult with young players. Also, they start to be nervous. Today we lose 3 points, very cheap.
Slavko Matic, manager and coach Emma Hearts of Oak. He was suffering the first defeat as manager of Hearts of Oak in 8 matches. So share the record Nidia 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat. We NSM kakra free eba na Osha sena other matches no course. So matches in the Shasia 2022 and yetumi every match the 10 and Real Tamale United almost so etumi echifa Kotoko also 3 goals to 2. Mediama SCH Accra Lions channel by 2 goals to 0. King Faisal Etin Swatraman United Chamo by 2 goals to 0. Tamale City beat Olympics by 2 goals to 1. Adriana Stars and Kumasi Asante Kotoko played out a pulsating 0-0 draw. And Lagos City's any Karela so Omobo 1-1 break. Chelsea any BBN Gold Stars almost Omobo 0-0. Tisa and a match no etumi by year. Osha table no so Ghana Premier League Nidia. Now Adriana Stars still top of the table 20 points. Kumasi Asante Kotoko second 18 points. BBN Gold Stars Omoda third almost 17 points and a Hearts of Oak Omoda fourth almost 16 points. Relegation battle no say any tier. King Faisal at 16th or more 12 points. Tamale City at 17th or more 10 points. And Kotoko Royals almost Omoda 18th position or more 4 points. We NSM Kakra Free Ghana Premier League. Mene MTN FA Cup draw no for the round of 32 ebetumi akoso na Ocean CC Ampini for their tuja 5 Division 2 sides have qualified to the next stage of the competition. 13 Premier League sides and 14 Division 1 clubs. Omunina ombe room e draw ebekoso ene at 2 p.m. Now Ocean CC Ampini for INCC na almost qualified teams have been zoned into 5 groups, taking into consideration their proximity and respective home venues. Into 5 groups in there. Oshese na Shianitia, Real Tamale United, Wa Power, Wa Sunta, Omunina, Omo Group A. Group B in Swatraman, Adriana Stars, Omunina, Omusha Hobby. Now Oko PMO L Group C, Obehu Kumasi, Santikoto, King Faisal, BBN Gold Stars, Samatex, Omunina, Omo Group C. Now Group D, Ebusia Drafts, Cape Coast Vipers, Sky FC, Nzima Kotoko, Karela United, Kotoko Royals. Now Group E, defending champions Hearts of Oak, Olympics, Dreams FC, Volta Rangers, Hearts of Lions, Lagos Cities. And Zelina Africa and Liberty Professionals. Omunina omu bi nyame adom ochina yeah the parents no for the next round of games no ebebre 84. Yenremo e wa Hearts of Oak camp na apprentice bako si akan Emma Hearts of Oak. A friend Daniel Efriye Banya enra and I reported to me ebeto just say Sisiane the transfer no to Super League side a friend FC Zurich no completed ankasa na Sisiane the branch no beto me a movie from Hearts of Oak to the Swiss side on a permanent deal. Now, according to reports in there, a branch or camp, Algeria, or Chan team, Chan tournaments, no Black Galaxies, or Moya Humbabasa, or to me participating in that competition way. A branch now, or former captain, Emma under 20 team, no, or to me Edgy Trophy, Emma Bogukono. Now, Sanso Ebobo, Emma under 23 team, was part of the Black Stars team, Eko PMO, Ewakata, or Boa Hearts, Mamoto me Edgy League, no, Sanso Edgy FA Cups. Apparently, is expected to join his new club, FC Zurich, after the Chan tournament. According to reports, no, Hearts of Oak are expected to receive training and compensation fee of $150,000 from FC Zurich. We NSM Kakra. If we also eba yenremo ewo Chan tournament no na ekopiemu ewo Chan tournament no dia na enra Black Galaxy said to me at the training camp ekoso ewo Egypt no eba year na according to reports no team no ombebu omuketem akopie mu ewo Algeria ene se ne be ya ombetumi ahye dwumedie na ase na Chan tournament Total Energies Championship of African Nations no ebetumi ahye ase on January 13 na abawie on the 4th of February na team ne die na omo preparations ase ewo Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence or Pram December 24 ansa na omutumi ebu omuketem akopie mu ewo Cairo sisia no omotumi aye omo training nyina wi a omo ba be piemu awo Algeria se ne be ya omotumi participate in the tournament proper na ohwe se na hihye ne tie ne dia na omotumi ebo 2 friendly matches ewo Egypt omotumi echi under 20 side of Egypt etwa mo by 2-0 esanso echi Boboko AFN Al Ahly echi omo etwa mo by 3-1 we nyina eka preparations no ho a we are expecting so omotumi ekopiemu ewo tournament proper ombetumi the form no Danidi ewo Ghana will play against Madagascar on the 15th of January before taking on Sudan on the 19th of January. Now, final group game no Omoni Morocco Ebeshia Esiakai on the 23rd of January. Omo coach Ano Walker ahead of Omo move to Algeria no or the same kakra etuja FA preparation no. Also the team need Niama assistant from Omo training camp or Pram to CC and there was a vast difference about team no. Na boys no attitude ni bibia no ade a improve ye pa. Yenti the coach Ano Walker edituja. Coach Ano Walker, head coach Emma the Black Galaxies of Ghana. Yeremo ewa manone kakra na enra English Premier League match the 19 ekoso ewa Brentford Community Stadium ena Brentford to mechi Liverpool channel by 3-1. Abrantie Freno Konate eshe own goal in the 19th minute and sana Abrantie Freno Joan Wisa to mechi goal in the 42nd minute. Emma Bobuku Freno Brentford to ensure said they went into the halftime break with a 2-0 advantage. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, apparently in the 50th minute, or to make a go back Emma Liverpool. And Sana 84th minute, apparently a friend of Brian Mbeumo to make the final nail in the coffin. Emma Liverpool, Emma Brentford to make a winning side game by 3-1. Sa and I can see to make a bar area now. Osheston and Liverpool missed the chance to edge closer to Premier League top 4 after sad defeat where Mustafa and Liverpool still stay in 6th position, 4 points off top 4 places. Now Boboko and Brentford and now to climb up to 7th position on the English Premier League table. And then matches also our English Premier League Arsenal and Newcastle Ebeshia, Everton and Brighton Beshia, Leicester City and Fulham Beshia, now Manchester United almost Omone Bournemouth Beshia Esiakai. Yeremo our Brazil, na Copiemo our Brazil dia and now Abrantie and our Penicassia, I friend Edson Arantes do Nascimento, I friend Pele no, and now anybody Ebepiemo our Santos, now Oshesen and Sisian Etienne dear, Bano Caldera Stadium, and I know to made anybody no Ebesi Ebetoya, Senebeya. I'm on to me a vigil ahead of funeral Ebekoso ene now Oshesen and Sisian Etienne dear. Thousands of mourners gathered to pay their final respects to the Brazil legend. Osanso Ebeye Sports Minister Emma Brazil maybe Nina Sema Ekoso na Osha displays and right to me course in dia na billboards bebre any placards abia ekitana Viva King Pele Nina Sema to me epiemo ewo na ene we are expecting say funeral no ebe to me akoso na funeral no to me ekoso wie dia the body will be moved around some principal streets in Brazil. And sana finally, Yadinebekwa to vertical cemetery, overlooking stadium, Freno, Bano Caldera Stadium, and Yadinebekwa to will be able to me after the final remains. Now, you see, cemetery need a 14-story store. Now, Pele, to 9th floor. Now, sa baby, no, and no, a viewer. Overlooking the pitch. Now we are expecting the president of Brazil, Luis Lula da Silva, and a FIFA president, our friend Gianni Infantino, and a chief mourners every year, because and Rano, Gianni Infantino editor just said they are going to ask every country in the world to name one of their football stadiums in the name of Pele. When you know Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, and also editor and Pele. Rest in peace. Any message at Yadiaba. Yeremo, our Ronaldo camp. Now, Brantier, I friend Ronaldo, and or to me, Ebe PMO, our Saudi Arabia, ahead of the unveiling. I because and a Brantier and Chebia and editor just say a Brantier was signing deal. 2-year deal. I'm a Bubuku, was Saudi, I friend Al Nassa. Now, and a Brantier no. or the Boeing 767 presidential jet for on the family on the PMO Riyadh ahead of the move betume ashasi na ene we are expecting say 25,000 capacity Masoul Stadium no betume ayama Senebeya Obia betumi aba abehwe omo new player I friend Cristiano Ronaldo na enchebia no abranche no betumi aye ne debut ama Boboko no against Al Shabab on the 14th of January. We ayensema free Ronaldo camper eba the tennis nsem kakra ebe bertie for na abayo abako tennis legend friend Martina Navratilova and now to me a confirm says she's been diagnosed with throat and breast cancer. Now Rehosema ebepiem and it's a 18-time Grand Slam singles champion no. She had previously been diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010. Now, according to reports, no, was suffer recurrence of breast cancer. No, now the throat cancer. According to 66-year-old Navratilova, no, both cancers had been caught at an early stage. Until Enchebiano or treatment, I say, in New York. We NSM Kakra, a free Martina Navratilova camp. So, Novak Djokovic, a opening Kessia, and also Osiakai, our tennis mo. Now, opening Kessia. Last Australia Open, when you to me, now he was deported because now I say on what COVID-19 vaccination no, now vaccine no, now Sisiani dear, in for assessor or vaccination status in Sensemity no, a idea which to me a remo Australia and a 3-year visa ban no, and also was overturned in November. Sisiani dear was Siakan Adelaide International a course of the now Penny Kessia say, why ready? Send a tournament a becoso. On January 16th, Australia Open no, also obetumi esiakan ewo ho. We ASM kakra free tennis more with the bread here for finally no. Yewemu ewo basketball court no so. Enra I can see also our basketball more a regular season at United States of America. Cleveland Cavaliers and Chicago Bulls esiakan na match nearby we no. Now Cleveland Cavaliers Chicago Bulls 145-134 after overtime. Now a branch back our friend Donovan Mitchell. A branch no to me score assist on 99 points. Now that's the second most in a game in NBA history. A branch no record no Sisiano Wilt Chamberlain and a Kitasa record no 104 points, any assists, any contributions to a game. Sisiano there a branch Donovan Mitchell and now share game to me on your 71 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists to help the team win the match. Now share records num there. Donovan Mitchell sets a new scoring record for Cleveland Cavaliers and becomes only the 7th player in the history of NBA to score 70+ points in a game. We NSM Kakramede Bremo from the world of sports. For more sports, tune into Happy Sports at 9 a.m. Ohene Bampo Brinya and the rest of the team. Omutinasia, the details and more sports news. Abe Bremo El Jumediano. So Midi, Eddie Raymond Yamado. Ebe Daniel Kakra. When we return, the Happy Morning Show continues.
And welcome back to the Happy Morning Show. Mobibia Kwaba Ebajumedian. So, your time now. We have some 29 more minutes before we hit the top of the hour. 8. Now, Yamo Kwaba, some of the CBG business tips and Broman for Mekacho and say, you're January mo. January mo say na a lot of us now by this time is second year. Asa. Yeah, the choir Kelso no, Sikano Asa. Yeah, edi etu kwa na sikano asa. What we look here dinner no sikano asa. Now it's time for you to start planning. Yes, it's time for you to start planning. Intime pacho. So unye sikebia. By now you should have made a list of your priorities, the things that are of importance to you now. One would be say, electricity bills is important. So you make an allocation towards electricity bills. Water bill, make an allocation for them. And Kodano Ebe Kusuku. It's about time you thought about how you're going to go into an arrangement with the school. Say, January there, Ebia, and what and the only school in Ekotinasi Akachom will say, by the end of January, and as the first in February, and Ebia will be a deposit from Kodani school fees, not the rest, no. What you are over a period into January, February, March, say 3 months into January, February, March into your first one in first week of February. Nadia Kano, what you know by the time a month in a Ebekona year. And when you know tips are and pay CBG4 as it from Bro, a watch medina so. Yan Shannon so na India who any na Afeni Sikasano, Yan to tune a year. A quano, a wa papa.
Na school no munya me 2 times.
Say. Yeah, no. Ah, na You people say you don't like it. When the student went to school for 6 months, you people came and sat here and said, I didn't go to school for 6 months. Oh, you say.
Now, proposal now they must school. Now, we don't want to see school.
Some say, go and meet the school and have that negotiation.
So, would they open so chair
You know, say Christmas in that trend, there was social media say some private schools don't pay when school is on vacation.
It's the same.
Say, vacation or different. But schools be mama kwaya 1 month. Some month na mama kwaya no salary.
For teachers, no?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
how?
Yes. Oh, it was all over Facebook.
Oh, I see.
Oh, how?
Tell it, moms. And tell it all.
But says maybe December. Now it's December. Not January start next year. Until most of the time.
Maybe.
Shut down.
And before no more can say, "Sa no mo yeno." Na.
Hey, and I said,
school ma kwaya.
Pay as you go.
Yes. Now, but could let her be crab by almost the parents and your fees, almost they can't pay them.
Wow.
Yes.
That's serious.
One thing I'm in school, no. I'm more than 10 times, madam. Want to miss your school fees? I'm 30. We will not hesitate to throw you and your kids out of the school.
What is really adventure?
Someone who's having school, no.
Well, on that note, you also name for Ghana Kasa Embre Oman for Munfre. But we are back to the status quo. So we are back to the status quo. It will frame me Pacho within 30 seconds to 1 minute. No, no make your points. No, in Chachia, you're free. You bring your name and intimacy. Moment so. You be a full line in the Ghana for any income.
Projects.
Social project.
My projects.
Okay.
Because we can't continue like this in this country. We can't continue like this in this country.
Okay.
And continue on my way say.
I said, I also choose suicide. I also choose suicide. Because we do Raymond, Friday, kitchen.
3 rooms.
Where the
3 rooms.
Aden. Mobi and choose the size. Obi and choose the size. Where the 3
rooms.
And
would they imagine if I say we will say a high until we half. That's a half of the price now or more quote now.
$1 now.
Obi on the choice.
Oh, that be.
Kotina events. O kotina events. Teacher Mante. Teacher Mante. The same idea. The same idea, Teacher Mante. 400 Ubenya. Yes, the same idea, Teacher Mante. 400 Ubenya.
Samuel can say.
Question. I know. Sounds kind of. The other 2 hours, sir. You 400 there. The other kind of.
Sorry. Whenever can't you say the farther you go, the cheaper it becomes.
Yes.
It doesn't actually become cheaper because he will spend more coming.
Well, that's for that. But the main reason they call it rent in here. Rent is cheaper at the mouth. Other accoutrements in there is none of our business. We choose more choice.
Why? It's too much.
Yes. Open 3 bedroom for 8,000 now.
Nipa or where was so to meet now sitting a
Yo, me am beautiful nice in the Ghana for any command pay. I don't go back to the conversation.
Really?
Kaswa 3 bedroom, Beji Bezing.
Aye, Kaswa 3 bedrooms on Beji Bezing.
On Beji Bezing. Give us figures. Kaswa 3 bedroom, Beji Bezing.
Oh, Beji say 1,002.
Oh, I said 1,002 the offer.
1,002. That make us so go with Chikaka.
At least maybe about 2K.
Oh, there, 1,002.
Why must somebody go and rent? Say something.
I'm be my phone line answer. Trade.
So the Ghana Kasano there.
There's what's if you know recording of 5 Sunday. You have a man 0555 657 278. 0555 657 278. Obeti my friend and in command of paying. Patrol fly would be our free. No lower TV sets in Eddie Maya. Number 12 on the to Eddie Maya. Yenchia Adofo and the Mr. Oba straight to the point. Hello, good morning. Yeah, I'm so Idi, aha, Akwaba.
Aha, Yenchia Obetina say Uchia na fati kwa show. Uchia we are na remo chia we. Ukasa na fati chanko. Na remo akasa they all live boots and your friends the dead one na ukasa na we akasa. Na fati chanani because ono obi ansan ne hwe nti ono we obi anchia no. And so they will see Ankasa in Chia. And Chimuana, I have a credit to fever. And now the Fatica. Rabbi Fancy was in Chianaman, Munquan, which I'm one Chia. Damian Fancy for the more serious news. Who share shy increment of a school fees year. Yanum the Yambayan do so much share. But Uba Dawa, Yan Swa, Sabian, Yanum after the now to a Mun California. Affecting you now. At this Sunday affecting now. Nti hisia de nim de yeka and that said you na you say the war emra more no and so after na say nyama esa koso and I see what inflation na eba for malata me I see what inflation e descend nti other than the dia inflation e descend ya then as a country Ghana as a country yeah they am feeling some inflation as anything
and no more boy koso
I didn't know yan kwa yan feel yan ti wa see inflation cost na happen here school fees na mai I fight to be to us bye bye
medals and a pay so from na badge me so idi and a pay on so e de kakra na dwenche e de be 0555657278 but offer no makasa na emu ate okasa na so emu ayehwam yenhye ne so 0555657278 offer me a udin bia offer free na afi no yedi enkomo 0555657278 ye twen ye very next call and menkai oman for say Fido for some kind of and say oman launch one more application no is a brand new application color no a pink almost between 2,000 and 3,000 Ghana cedis no you find next caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Chief.
During your first Cape Coast.
All right, but your uncle.
I also more kind of the Ghana for you must somehow watch him. You must somehow watch him and say at the book will see the baby are news. When Pochum be so, National Cathedral, 80 million Ghana cedis year was in China cash away. Pocho, ye Jumabimum, National Cathedral, 80 million. Let's say divided by Ghana's population, which is about 31 million. We'll be able to man in your hand around 2 million Ghana cedis. Master, I'm mixing away. Not a watch is can 1 2 million Ghana cedis. Master, maybe my braboni, maybe my ye. These are some of the things all the Ghana of Fizi and I don't know who there. More could oh yeah. Why serious? What's a domestic opinion? The Ghana for Shabra. So ministerial opposed to that. When young Yamama won't turn out what's 1 year. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, 1 hour for Eastern region. More and Tanaho, ma one family. One phone when you know
let's proceed. We don't do that here. We don't do it. That sounds very tribalistic. Let's proceed. Me pamichopi. Moba esremo kasano. Moma emu ente. This sounds very tribalistic. It's not allowed on our show. 0555657278 0555657278 ofemia whenever you send me bedin komo ewojumedino eso yemma yenko straight to the point. We can make the point without a year kasa ntwie no bebre na ya amopeno ni command up. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Chief.
Yeah, I'm speaking from Agona Nyakro.
Come again from where, sir?
I'm speaking from Agona Nyakro.
Okay, sir. Please, your name.
Yeah, I'm on air.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just look at this morning, and it is a mocha fee increment, you know, 50% fee increment, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legon per one, then it's not 15%. It's more than 15%. And I overheard you talking about something from 2019, that kind of thing. That's not the issue now. Our issue is that we were admitted last year, October, for a 1-year program. The 1-year program will end sometime in November. So I am initially on my provisional admission. On my substantive admission, they made us to pay school fees, which is almost 24 million. Remember, I said 23 million. That's all. 23,000. Now, CCR, with the new fee structure, yeah, about 15% increment, almost see it's going to apply to us retrospectively. So from 23,000, yeah, they got 32,000. Why would that be the case? And once I was listening to one kind of say, just mentioned about 15%, but yeah, it's going to affect. We already students of the university doing a 1-year special program. And you say law about saying should be fee increment. We think there should be for 2023, for 2022, 2023 students. Yeah, 1-year program. That is our issue. And I didn't hear you. Maybe I think maybe you've not been informed on that. So you are coming from the target of the parliament. So that's our issue. We cannot be. I don't think we should be retrospectively be affected because when laws are done, no one should be disadvantaged retrospectively.
All
that's our issue.
All right. I thank you very much for joining me. But I think, sir, from the release, my colleague, Ewidi Edemaya, one more cassette, one more taken it retrospectively. One more cassette, what Parliament approved is what they are working the 15% on. No, be so. Until and yes, a retrospective per se. Technically, you may say that it is retrospective, but Ushe Embra Parliament approve more fees or and charge 5% now. The more can say Parliament approve you say 5% increments in the more. They are working the 15% on the 5%, and that the earlier gesture it was on humanitarian grounds. And that is where they are coming from. But your bit is also a confusing one because 1 year now say 1 year now the last time we started baby school you see a charge based on a year and so a bit somewhere for me. But I won't mind you. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Too bad. Only 0555 657 278.
When there's an increment, we are ready to look for a retrospective month. No, they account. But about an increment, and be affect your pocket. We are better retrospective will be out.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Chief.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I hear you, sir.
Okay. But your friend was coming to Tama.
Yo, Oscar Machenko.
Never so, among for Muslim praises, Abana Yadia, what it petrol soon I don't know. Never say, I don't know, and Sveto, the first year market, a very market. In your manner, yet on Missy said you be a baba. Blade at first yet on 1 CD 50%, she said 3 CD. Abaya to trust in your money, still not down yet 3 CD now. Come on, 0. 50%. She said 3 CD. Just in your man, about it in your machine. I don't think about only be to say, certain control price. On the day, say, or 10 your mouse one, a bed flatty. Because what's it in your man so? I'm not for that whole bread. In your man, you say, oh, marketing in a person, because we are maybe to say, COVID time. COVID time, you can't say them were the room, but you could do ye. Maybe sounds at that moment, Nipano or Cotona, and at that moment, we can to Susa.
Yeah.
Until the again, I buy ye after. Because I am quite to say, anytime beer about to Martina Maso, and I said Nipano again, I could get the wound in your first and the stone, Class or the Cotano. We do short time and I know what you have to super pepe. I am favor. Sadian Yakaho.
All right, open
about young baby. Now you say the
Remote, you wanted to make a comment?
Sammy, one of the callers I can say 80 million, your chairman 30 million Ghanaians. We have when you're 2 CD 67 pesos.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
We are per one person. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Pacho, Pesape contributed to an opera program. TV.
All right, Pacho, would you need to be
your family, Enoch, me free. Zakumono.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so me about road safety na road safety issues what Accra now. I'm say some of us we drive around town. Now I'm say potholes are major roads no too much. It's me believe that such a small platform in offer alert police for road ministry for them to take a look at this problem for us. And I just so unamwa street lights no be any juma and potholes never can no. I believe say in front of potholes manholes and kasa. Oh, it's but you take this issue very serious now. More sure how they will be addressed for us, please.
Thank
you very much.
I think I do a few them say you just started watching the show. That's been a course we've been championing the whole of last year. And he mentions Sakumono area. We may have to go and take a look at Sakumono near here. That's what we've been doing last year. This year. Are we still in the year of roads? Yeah, that's what year of roads. Okay.
So now I say, you go and meet concrete layer. Yeah. Omo to turn premix concrete, Omo causes and I'm surprised as a to get it off the roads in a better it's shocking.
Hello, good morning. Morning, Chief. All right, too bad. Onyana Humano, Edwin Hambo. 0555-657-278. 0555-657-278. And any number idea, we'll be happy to hear from you this morning. Offer annual body, maybe I will offer free enough any attention you didn't come. Na you didn't come with the men Kyle man for some patch up. Fatty and the person current here down 8,000 Ghana cities. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
But you didn't even have free.
I'm the Richard.
You're Richard, but your uncle.
Yes. Concerning the school fees increment, I think the government is overbearing the parents. Seriously. Look at the programs outlined at the universities now. You complete the university, you sit at home, no job. What are the universities doing? I just could look at the University of Cape Coast. Distance program that back in 2016. Look at the number of students who have been recruited into the classroom. No. Legon, same thing. Winneba, the same thing. What is the government doing?
You better answer pay. Say also framing about Jumidi, as well. I think one of these days we must find time this year. Na ending komo yen fana call on fana no. Na ending komo yen fa entrepreneurship e ma we see emo. Because Fatty, see yen fana say me to me apply for Ustart TB to restart my shito business. Na I started set me here juma Fatty enne say even if I'm still staying at the old price of 45 Ghana cedis for 500 ml, just the cost of courier service, delivery alone like destroys your business.
Yeah, that's also like 40 cities.
Yes.
And so, you start now? Oh, yeah, I didn't kind of say cost benefits analysis. Pesca the better moto. Fashion, not Nina, which I next out the cotton and Jenny.
Semi tomato na. Because I am me moto nintino. You find semi 30 Ghana, Minji 40 Ghana, Meji 30 Ghana, 30 Ghana plus 45 percent. 75 Ghana.
So to me encourage amount for now me top bears 4, 5.
You know that thing is killing a lot of businesses.
Oh, it is, but I mean delivery service is also convenient.
It's killing.
Me fan say mete Sakumono. Me fa car Embra West Hills. Some me touch it up 45 Ghana.
But you see, Fatty, I think that there should be, if government indeed wants to encourage people into, Omoyo Man Kasa Ejuma, it's one of the areas government must be interested in because you see, some hey, Korea adieno. Meti hey.
Government should
Train. Listen, meti hey. Said those times me customers dash it off from Kumasi. Number of customers are more dash it more mom no more school Wesley Girls and Holy Child School. When it is delivered to them at that school, at the time I'm 20 Ghana cedis per the weight. So who is regulating Sadieno to ensure say even the normal parcel delivery system no? How is it that from here to Honum no? Me 20 Ghana. Now say the transfer will be a file. Eko Kumasi 30 Ghana.
Sami, who the delivery courier moto no?
Yes.
They deliver to your location as in your house or your office.
Yes, this one today.
Baby, how they fuck no? Vango station now about
No. Can I mention the company?
No.
It's one of the top companies. Bako color yellow. And the it was white and red. White and red na meka was no. Almost office no sunny FM here. That's why I go to do all my thing. 20 Ghana. I was delivering. Cape Coast, me clients, place order na me supply. No, I'm just saying that. I'm saying that some effort must go into your parcel delivery system. Senia, young businessmen are obakwaji ebia you start sikani bino. Omo betimi thrive.
The same way, Sammy. So one has out of motor, betimi at 36. I don't know.
Betimi at 20. Betimi at 20.
And so that problem.
What is it?
We are one of you. Who makes you? One guy now makes you feel. Oh, there is some.
No, I do understand.
My response is but the response now that
service.
We do problem there.
Exorbitant fees, but
Charlie, you know. Anyway, oh, Dino has 8,000, and I'm no can have some. Video force me can't just say.
Every month we are making a new video. How could you?
One time, I don't quite answer about to
Sammy, a dad who has some by no.
Oh, I don't want some about a picture of sister.
Apart from no cathedral, no so.
I say, if you home come.
I almost for 2 million. No cathedral coming, mammy, and I'm finding.
Video force me can't just say, Minia, Associaba, your disconnect. I clear to see how the master. You who see the journey, no, I do so. Your 365 days, the January, no. Your Timor, Copum say January, ended. But I say, don't let that be a concern. Uhiamwaka, but feed for her no more. Almost say, if you open 200 Ghana cities, Aquadano, the bag be Alberto, Edian, no man will be able to total. Meaning, open 500 Ghana, open 1,000 Ghana, open 2,000, open 3,000 Ghana cities. Feed for 7 countries so they can support you to do whatever it is you want to do. But more than so, we install your more application or Google Play Store or install your phone as well or call app anymore. You can just begin the process. It's just a short period. No more guarantee will loan at the amount. And I said, over the star 711 star 999 hash our phone or so, and then you are good to go. When we say in countries of Bombardier, so more near Daho, more near to Sabo, because if I want for Akubi accounts. Or social media no more these guys who are more so more feed for into Mujusika na trim when I work on one Musika no Eddie Johnny or make us your processing fee and to your this normal Jusika no the call feed for say they are not on social media but more than so by install more application no and I said the star 711 star 999 hash na nothing on our old chrono. Heritage Christian College for some countries or more Ama Samai behind the Olympic Stadium when affiliated to AKNUSA and accredited by GTEC. More Irani programs be ethical accounting, marketing, human resource management, banking and finance, business information technology management, BSc information technology, and a bachelor of theology. One more year programs winning ABL Honum, one more hostel facilities, one more alpha scholarships to a year student. Inti, one more the answer will do about a year Heritage Christian College. Almost more edgy a year school from Kutawasi ABC and GBC a year mature students and so already 25 years and above no munya you qualify to be enrolled into the school. Between from what 0202298399 for any information via and dial star 789 star 300 hasha munya not what to online serial number no apply 50% tuition fee waiver and the Emma school for into yen channel and so Yam Vita Party by Sedgman, Macacho Safi, we say, dear. say ya ne ekono CBG force yan kancho say obetie school fees a me ba cho bomodin answer no mo bedin sa so University of Ghana and now person otie school fees na ekọ mo tua aye 15% ne batie de mo kwa chire kakra Takrady Technical University of Cape Coast Akentin apia menka na afi University of Education Winneba woman nyina asian kanche say mbetumi atua mo school fees no through a CBG womo over 114 branches across the country and why not utilize them kona bia bon CBG honoma obetumi atua school fees no e dey form so 0302 216 000 and any number CBG force obetumi from so na no modin komo na na pa bi say one munsu ana wonu munsu abomodin asobodo munsu we purified drinking water and American for Ediama, almost 330 ml, almost 500 ml, 750 ml, and after 1.5 liters. Now, see, I want more introduce the 19 liters jar. Obit me a talk now, so you should be and to my body answer on Susunum. When you're more ABD in Kitahon, now so one should be why insure Ediamo because when you buy a bottle of water from Awake Purified Drinking Water, one more SCN countries or Mutis can be at the Koboa, the National Cardiothoracic Center, our Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Yenny ebia wo makoma ho atochi makakra na wo mo ehia mo wasikasembu no wo mo etiska ne bi elekobo mo ewo Kolebu Teaching Hospital ntibacho obani munsu ama no nye Awake Purified Drinking Water na obetia from mo ewo 0262 351 251 na ne mo edi enkomo fatiti asem we say because ebebo 2-bedroom apartment 2-bedroom ewo area ope is Legon Hills ni se ope honom ba ko so ewo ayimensa e so fine na almost a coffee as low as 400,000 Ghana cedis. When you say 400,000, and Yesika
is 400,000. Yeah.
And
Hills.
Yes.
They are even selling in dollars.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
And 400,000 Ghana cedis. Over to me in your 2-bedroom apartment.
Me 2 million if you guys like cathedral him.
Almost 3-bedroom with boys' quarters and an echo 560,000 Ghana cedis. 4-bedroom with boys' quarters and also echo for 840,000 Ghana cedis. Obetua now will be the best time to go and buy. Madika Kacho say Adani or East Legon Hills any ayimensa and to Mobani Asoba Kuhumo. One more ACB and so our Pokwasi Amra here any Ashale Butri Tienshan and so waiting for more 0302 960 865 na on your more Edin Komo Sukasa Properties almost building on trust. Fatty, over to you.
Yanfa Yanvita ho SM anase de ro emirate for any ashofo Yanvita yaka ho asema kan say by now on to Yanvita emma ebusia ne adofo a ene na menje ndi say opa adepa emma ebusia especially enkola ewofie Yanvita instant cereal ye de milk ahye mu dada bibia ewo mu dada de wo hia ne clean water say ode beye ya fortifying with Nutri-V containing 16 essential vitamins and minerals and no zinc ewo mu iron ewo mu calcium ewo mu eno na wo de ma akola etumi boosti the immune system. No boosting our immune system very important because nipa dia no ejina immune system so then abaya ya rank it and keteni akese nyina no entumi emma how when you send ya wankasa wo for utumi bre sa akola yare a entini Yanvita no and I was say a year aduane a wo de ma aba eno no ete wo hospital kaso sa so na ete amunye hia akola yare a ede bre no ete so na it was 3 delicious flavors maize and wheat, rice and wheat, and yes so ewo wheat nkoa ewo honum yewo packs no emiensa yewo 50 grams yewo 400 GT and 350 block bottom pouch and also ewo honum inti size bia na o family no ubetumi use no me de wo ya me den 50 grams no ena me pe because I don't know what me my instructions obia baako what's baako eno ano no enya de afi no obi ka say me sa 3 mienu ena me ono kosa amiensa na ntoka aba enti me de 50 grams na ena me de bo me bra enti no ubetumi age size etumi eboa especially ebi akola ketekete no so ono enya ono na ubetumi akọ tin sachet enti no opa utumi to container mu de no anase tin de no na wa ofo no wosesa na we ye ema akola no na Yanvita no Emma feeding time with babies so nice. It gives a happy moment. What you na nam say Yanvita ne yedde ankasa nti no na ode ma akola na no oje enya afi na oni akola ba be pre ho na afi force feeding akobem na eno so akofa entusafo so foforo aba if you say any so force feeding akwala na ya vita no akwala na wo ye na wa hyase biebie na no dada oba beje na wedie kai said 16 essential vitamins and minerals eshemu enti no wo de ma oba na wama no aduane pa ya vita a delicious way to grow.
Yo, Raymond, over to you, National Cathedral.
Thank you. Government spent 339 million Ghana cedis on National Cathedral.
Na 80 the point almost say yan chema ye. Na 300 and I hear in there.
Oh, so I said
the Vima audio.
Okay. Government has spent 339 million Ghana cedis on National Cathedral project. Secretariat and Odessa Semoyaba. The executive director of the National Cathedral Secretariat, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, has revealed that the Akufo-Addo government has spent a total of 339 million Ghana cedis on the National Cathedral. The amount includes a total of 113 million Ghana cedis paid to the consultant, Sir David Ajayi, and 225 million Ghana cedis paid directly to the Secretariat for the construction of the project. Speaking after the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, paid a working visit to the construction site on Monday, January 2, 2023, Dr. Opoku-Mensah dismissed reports that the Secretariat has misappropriated funds allocated for the project by the state. Quote, "For the purposes of clarity, I want to report a verbatim memo I sent on this issue dated 17 January 2022 and addressed to the Clerk of Parliament. The indication was that government has given 339 million and we could account for only 225 million, leaving 114 million Ghana cedis missing." It is Meanwhile, President has once again reiterated his commitment to ensuring the completion of the National Cathedral project despite numerous criticisms. President said with the support from the Christian community, the promise he made to God will be fulfilled and the National Cathedral will be completed. The President was speaking after he visited the construction site of the stalled project and made a donation of 100,000 Ghana cedis. Coach no ewaha me sure say yebeba my for for now say the National Cathedral project has seen a lot of controversies as many Ghanaians continue to question the prudence of the state financing an edifice that is said to be the President's personal pledge to God. But the President has been unwavering in his resolve to build a cathedral in Ghana. In the 2023 budget, 80 million Ghana cedis was allocated to fund the project despite current economic crisis. However, Parliament voted against the approval of the budget estimates of 80 million Ghana cedis for the construction of the National Cathedral for 2023. I said no, anything.
So what is the total cost of building the cathedral, opening it? What is the total cost?
It will vary. It will vary. It will continuously vary.
Yeah.
Because prices of Nipana, quantities of Nipano, or edema for projects.
Yeah.
Iron rods board. No, seriously.
Of course.
Iron rods board ecoso. Cement board ecoso.
Put price to it.
You know the price has changed. The price for the project, the estimated cost of the project, I think it has changed twice or thrice. Yes.
Yeah.
Initially, some 250 was mentioned.
Million.
Yes.
And we've already spent 350 million.
Ghana cedi. Where are Ghana cedis?
Totally in dollars.
Yeah, in dollars.
$450 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Raymond,
yeah.
You see, I think that the board of the cathedral.
Yeah, $450 million.
The board of the cathedral, for me, they are virtually insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians.
True, I agree with you.
They are virtually insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians. I chanced upon a commenter, opening Kojo Nimfo Opoku Nyina. He's supposed to be the chairperson of the board of trustees of the National Cathedral. Or say, opposition to the building of the National Cathedral is normal. Minority in parliament don't understand the concept. And for me, is an insult to all of us. What don't we understand about the National Cathedral? What don't we understand about the National Cathedral? Look, the National Cathedral is being forced down our throats as Ghanaians.
True.
Omampeni and questionable. And also, Nyame Abia, or catching Yanko, some meeting a president, Messi sorry than at the amount. The pastors who are leading this church know that in the Bible, when David decided to build a church for God, he made provision. He himself made provision for the building of the church.
Yes.
But in this case, look at how the church, the body of Christ itself, is contributing towards the building of the Church of God. Remember, look at the numbers. Evangel Church International, 5,000 Ghana. Christian Action Faith Ministry, 100,000 Ghana.
They already have their church buildings. Into
Perez Chapel International, 48,200 Ghana cedis.
Who helped them to build their own?
Fountain Gate Church, my church, 15,000. Another Fountain Gate Church, 5,000. Harvest Chapel International, 15,000. Manna Mission Church, 5,000. Breaking Yoke, 100,000. What's the name? Christ Apostolic Church, 25,000. We want me pay asori no. Me pay asori no. Me pay asori no. Accra Rich Church, we want 15,000.
Rich Church.
Yes, 15,000. Meba. Church of Christ, 5,000. Presbyterian Church of Ghana, 200,000. SDA, Southern Ghana, 200,000. Yemon Sema SDA for.
200,000.
Yes, Yemon Sema
SDA.
Yes, SDA. Moto na moya moye. Hey, Ghana Baptist Convention, 20,000. The whole Ghana Baptist Convention, 20,000. What does this? What does this tell you?
You don't want to pay, but some people are paying now. You are belittling them.
Yes, I have to. It is the project of God.
Yes.
You should see the churches themselves spearheading this charge.
Yeah.
You should see the churches collecting special offering every Sunday. Sorry, no. Now the National Cathedral. Members, yeah, church members.
Why am I say National Cathedral?
Members, no.
So how do you go back to
collect? So then, what is the board of trustees telling us?
President.
Were we not here when they launched the, how do you call it? Some short code amount for them contributing.
Yeah.
Were we not here?
President voice no. President voice no.
Me should say they are doing Ghanaians and themselves a lot of disservice. Were we not here when Okujato Ablako was the one who had to come and make a revelation about how much government has given to them and we didn't know about it
before they even started.
Before they started talking about it.
Yeah.
It was done on the blind side. The board kept quiet. Yeah. Was it not then that we got to know that even Mensa Otabil, who was supposed to be a part of it, was no longer a part, and that the church hasn't come to tell us anything?
The bottom line is
I think that they are insulting us.
Say they don't want it.
They are insulting us.
Especially now. Unless somebody catcher said, to say mosque na ewo Kawokudino. The same manner, and a move to the cathedral and Ghana for young cash, more friends say beba. But for us to use our monies to build it, we say no. What is so? I don't know.
Maybe some question. Before, sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
I'm going to call on here. They know I'm paying you 100,000.
Yes.
The seed capital they show me 100,000. And then and this is 100,000. If indeed His Excellency the President wants to see to the completion of this project, and he really wants to demonstrate his commitment to Air National Cathedral, or say a priority or priorities, sir, should we be talking 100,000 Ghana cedis? No. Can the president not mobilize more than 100,000 Ghana cedis?
Yeah.
And yet, day one, he gave 100,000. Day two, 100,000. All that the president is saying with a project that he says is a priority of priorities is 200,000 Ghana cedis. That is all.
Is that not of his personal money?
Yes, that's his personal money.
What do you want him to do?
But if the president wants to canvass,
why?
If the president wants to canvass for money for the National Cathedral, would it be 200,000 Ghana cedis?
Na board no one about.
And then
that is the president's way.
No.
Yes. Whatever the board is doing, you know, that is the president's way of making sure say you see cathedral. No?
I have 3 issues.
All right, Yanko.
1. So I'm a board of trustees. So. It is quite clear that at this point, the government spent 339 million Ghana cedis so far on this project. As part of fundraising or more year, via our text line, any Christian community donating, even the Muslim community has donated. Other bodies are donating. How much have they realized? In total, how much have they realized that towards building of this edifice, almost all media shame. Are they telling us, so far, every single work that has been done on that site, Sikana Omwajiji, Yibimano, Omofa Capre Crown Share Business Project, no man. Because, I mean, if you look at the breakdown, from Ajayi consultant to every other thing that has been done, our site, no so. As per the number, the figures we have, any data, no. It is a 339 million. So, Sikano, are they just holding it? Sikano to hockey. Sikano to hockey, or share. And answer them. And then the first question. Sammy, you see, I listened to the chairman of the board yesterday. Or say, your name who share, Yenja Kasa.
Yes.
I heard that. It was quite unfortunate. Yes. Sammy, does he live in this country? Does he listen to the Ghanaians? The church members, does he listen to them? On the plight of Ghanaians as we speak today. I heard another one also say the plan of the board is that they are expecting 1 million Ghanaians to contribute 100 Ghana cedis every month.
Every month.
By 2 years, no, on be resist they see that way. Jesus Christ. Sammy, where is he getting that 1 million Ghanaians from? Is he living in this country? Does he know the state of Ghanaians today? Does he know the plight of Ghanaians today? You see, Sammy, nobody is saying don't build cathedral. Nobody is saying don't build cathedral. We are saying that if you want to build a cathedral, do not use state funds. Don't use taxpayers' money to go and build cathedral. 1, 2, if you want to build a cathedral, Sammy, find a way to appeal to people. Let people buy into cathedral now, PSOC, and then they support you. But don't force it down our throats. That is what we are saying. Sammy, I heard the president say, Edaya Babesino, Ebeye monumental. In fact, let me quote. As I have said before, the National Cathedral will not just be another monument adorning the Accra skyline, but it will be a rallying point for the entire Christian community to come together and worship. Sammy. Are we not worshiping already? 31st night, me who are Wakayama, me who Accra Sports Stadium, me who Independence Square. There were people there. Was it not a monument, a rallying call for prayers? Do we necessarily have to go and do it in a cathedral? But also I'm Santi and say there has been a lot of wars in the sub-region. Sammy out here.
Yeah.
Into building the cathedral. Sammy, unless we are not living in Africa. The biggest church in the world, the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace, Yamoussoukro, Ivory Coast. Basilica in the bush. Sammy, do you know that Ofe Boanye built that 18,000 capacity church, Odema Catholic Church? 2000, what happened in Ivory Coast? Between 2000 and 2007, if I'm not mistaken. Sammy is saying, war is sea or Ivory Coast, no, even the cathedral couldn't prevent it. So, Sammy, we are building cathedral because we don't have civil war. True. But somebody built a cathedral to the glory of God, but civil war is in the group. So it doesn't even guarantee, say, building a cathedral no, or even prevent or stops anything from happening if it's untoward. So I mean, why are we doing this to ourselves? You see, if you want me to buy into cathedral, don't come and tell me, say, Stephen won't see Africa. Because there's no guarantee that if you build in Ghana, because there's no guarantee that if you build a cathedral, NC, knowing the example of Basilica. So I mean, cathedral need there. Whoever wants to build this cathedral should find this money and build a cathedral. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But in this state, a Ghanaian say, no. Sammy. As for the board of trustees, so they have to defend as much as possible. But on defense, no, it's annoying Ghanaians. You see, consistent attempt to defend and force Ghanaians to buy into this project, no, it's becoming annoying. Sammy Omunjai.
All right. I mean, can't wait for my Raymond network. So, I'm not stopping you. I'm reading this for you.
Okay.
Rather, and again, like Solomon on that occasion, the building of the National Cathedral is to serve as a gesture of thanksgiving to God for his blessings, favor, grace, and mercies on our nation, and to give me an opportunity to redeem a pledge I made to him before I became president.
That pledge part.
Yes.
Sammy, the pledge part. You see, if he had left it at, to give thanks, praises to God, we'll leave it there. But when you tell me, and to give me, Sammy, it's personal. Me, personal. Me, president. So look for your money and build a cathedral. You should share a cathedral. Sammy, today, as we sit in this country, many importers. The sika eji wo ho nyina tax. Meboa.
Yeah.
Ewo port. Ntumi ntua ye hu so. Salary kakra eji.
Hold on.
With tax.
Hold on with that submission for a second here. Dr. Smart Abbey Eninko, international evangelist, scripture prophet and theologian. Na yenjene thoughts on this National Cathedral and Sensem. Opani yemo kwa ba no pay.
Me Shiamo, animal care for you now.
Na Impomboko dia afishapa.
Nami Ado. Apomboko, Namoso.
You can opani, Medo Asiso Bisaya. Opani, National Cathedral Hon Sensemi, Uyo Bia Wunim Bible, no Shia Bible Aquachri. Omanfoni bebre and Casse. Anyadia as a Christopher, or see a dear actually, after and sorry, dear, you'll be brave. Opposition on it in the same.
Okay, Anopai, Amicha with your phone now. Any Yenfa as that is here, Emma Christo. Say, Wamaye, and Wonding, Wamaye to me say, Anopai, Yenka, Asema, Efa Christo. Into your fact that is here, Emma, Yami, any Christian. I make sure free Psalm 127, verses 1. I can say, if the Lord does not build the house, the watchman, or other Bible will say, the work of the builder is useless. If the Lord does not protect the city, it is useless for the sentries to stand guard. And verse 2, it says that it is useless to work so hard for a living, getting up early and going to bed late. For the Lord provides for those he loves while they are asleep. Ki kasa wenu se Nyame ye odo na yebeye bibia ma nyame a yentumi mfa ya ho ndin emfa nye emba nyame emu nyame na obabie kwan no amaye amaye atumi aye ade a esefata aye de amano na teka asori dan a it is the body of Christ and it is the temple of what? The Lord. It is over Kaya, Yabeko Bible, Moshe, David ni Solomon na emra David epese obesi asori dai ama nyame a obisa nyame ena nyame ka che ne se enye wu na obesi temple no na emu Solomon na machine so se onye den onsi temple no ema me enu kire se David enye gidi ni but the nyame pe na oye only say situation na about National Cathedral no aye kan wansem ebi asipen Inti, as a theologian, no, me pese to educate your listeners. Me pese yen go back to church history. Then obi abehu the ekosu sesia. The diasipen. Na sebobe kaya in the 16th century, that's 1515. Pope Leo X granted a plenary of indulgence to finance the construction of the St. Peter's Basilica in Rome today. And yeka indulgence now, it was a time in the church history. Salvation was for sale. After the salvation, when you did but obi obe to me atias kama sorry no. Gidi ni say otias kama sorry na. Ubenya waje nkwa. Inti subsequently no, there is this man, Roman Catholic apologist called Johann Texel. Onusha say obi opese onya akwan di salvation na this was to kama asori no omudi asi St. Peter's Basilica no. Inti Johann Texel exisika bebre every asafofo ninsem ena ta no ena omudi si St. Peter's Basilica ewo Rome no. Inti ye friend Texel scandal. Inti eba ne sa no Martin Luther every crusade against the idea of the plenary indulgence na Roman institution no di baaye no. Inti eba ne sa no papa bi a ye friend no Mazzolini any John Heck came at how do you call it, Martin Luther, for taking that step against the church. So, nyame pese American say, adibi wa asida, and now me no kasano, you see National Cathedral. Okay. What it means is leadership is not about self-glory. You see, we say, Fabeji wankasa when no nyam. But you see, we say, Konako sum umaino. And no thing, you see, President, this will say, Onuna Yepese, Obe Lady, or Mino at this point in time. But at the end, say, unless somebody convinces me, say, Nyami Ayache, Nana Eye, Nakuma, Adie, say, Obesi, Dai Ama, Nyamia, fine. But mean so. The Diamiti say theologian, any scripture prophet, yeah, and coming in this say, Yamina to say, on see diamond. Because the Yamina who say, see diamond, I don't think that this should happen at the time there is hardship in the country. You want to build a house for the Lord at the time when people are living in abject poverty and cannot even afford 1 square meal a day. And the area say, I'm sorry for omu ate say, I'm sorry for now, omu ate say, yes, sit down with no. Me pipe on say, Nami woman mobo. Ebi a omu need the omu yeno.
Oh, opening.
Omu need the omu yeni say, e come the amount for any sorry for now, omu ko sorry no. Do na and to me afford it. Eduane omubedi tika kakra omuwonu omudi 2 collection but this same church leaders so up to collection so ebi mo atua 100,000 Ghana cedis ebi mo atua 70,000 Ghana cedis at the time even their church members are hungry, they are living in abject poverty where they could have channeled these resources to support them. Say about 3 days ago
one of the churches now, Omo donate Ama National Cathedral. No. One of the members, no, a friend, he said, me kind of one na emoye diamano. Na Christmas way, a year dream poso to me now and 1 year more a day. After the ya see January mo. Also on got in bas school fees on need the beer or Benyas can be free. Meanwhile, no sorry okono. Almost to best 100,000 Ghana cedis and answer the Omudi Kwako bois the construction of the National Cathedral. So this is where we are in the Christendom. That we must define our priorities. Nobody is against building a cathedral of that sort. No. But we are saying that if that should come from taxpayers and Ghanaians who are living in abject poverty now, they have to contribute for the construction of such a building now. So, building this year. As I see the brave one, the Diamefree Ewo, Amasaman District, Village, Dobro, Onum, Ashalaja, Onum, Nadia, Krama, Okushibiade, and Naminoka say, you better Myanmar a government over 20 acres to build such a facility. But Metia said the NTR Daya Yasinu and do better 10 years in Pool, including offices of companies near the idea. As the Jaminoka say, there is a judgment debt looming because if you move the assembly up or court. So you destroy property to build a temple for the Lord. How do we judge?
Mami bisa question now we raise concerns about or how our man for ne womu na the government and also mampeni and can also show how no na based upon that you know on for project and to for a while. Obi baby say and say Jesus Christo or was as so na mami abrewa bi any adofo bi so mo koma omo offering sorry na yesu ka se ma me abere wa poso na ono wa bere wa brabom no ono ni offering no na so ani pa because of the onemu no anka yesu betimi aka je so abere wa wo de wo offering de because of situation wo mu no fa offering no na fa ko na omom wo bi ni de wo mu entua na the Bible na so ka se the poor will always be with us ana
irrespective of how you want to put it, I want to hit the hammer right on the nail. So I'm speaking dispassionately and I'm speaking to the issues. The issue is that why should we allow ourselves to be deceived in that direction? In the sense, me did say, scripture said, unless God builds a house, the watchman labors in vain. Nyamini wo Christo somni say, se nyamima wa assignment o ma ukwa obeden obefa to execute assignment without any hindrance. It is funny say se nyami asemi to say me si asoy dan en mana. On nkwa obefa to amami anya sika e di atisa asoy dan. But this is the case the year cano. Then now, majority of Ghanaians are almost sorry, almost there because Omamu Ayeti, a country amount for taxes are going up, inflation is going up. We know the situation of the dollar and all this. So the government should channel its energy in solving the numerous economic challenges of the country. The government should channel its energy in trying to address the sustainable livelihood development of the Ghanaian people. That should be the priority of the government as we speak now. But if you have to take such amount of money, only say, also for penny can say, Dina Yababesino, a bank Kabia and count. Actually, Nayabeti say, Abayakasa Tikabe is 300 million Ghana cedis for Shemudana. So who are you deceiving? Why do you want taxpayers' money to be used to build such a facility? And the other dimension of it is this.
Hold on 1 second for me. Hold on 1 second for me. I understand, sir. Oh, yeah. Prophet, also a theologian. What being our Bible in the Mupam? And you know, oh, Pacha says, Sima Woken in Apostle Professor Opoku in Wonim. Oh, Pacha said, Archbishop Pamabako. Wonim. Oh, Pacha said, Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate. Wonim. Sansima Woken in
Enuna, Yami Yano. Because the Mamika Assembly only Papa na friend of Dr. Opoku Ninano. Or your beer me respecting no. Check me kind the article no grab for me the chat your friend of doctrinal discipleship. How to disciple a nation. Inti u papa what for nyama when you name a u ka ta about doctrinal discipleship no. Where you know this is what you are a championing. You are saying things that is not supposed to come from a man of God. And this is what is very disturbing in the sense that as we speak today, like I'm saying, many of the church goers, many people are they are living in abject poverty. It's in the future of you see me office, any position. Abua asorenu in the sense that the social contract in the church and the members will be upheld because sorry for no to collection ma sorry in the somu nyamboa or say sorry no enye de emboa omo. All right, don't. Enti na mameka assembly, enti na me respect papa bi aye friend Elder Donko. Owo Abraham prayer camp church Pentecost no because the kabi obedi wa sorry them no at the end of the year no or the sorry for no me ma hobi this 1st January no ma call na sorry ahu and na nyame nhra no pa say omo di sika free sorry them man omo di bua sorry for na ye call ye no but where there obedi sika now they are called to collection ama National Cathedral emrea your church members know come how do we get such situation? So coming back to what I was saying before you interjected, no, I'm saying we were told the state funds will not be used to build the cathedral. So let it stay there. In any way, if they want to build such a facility now, they should do that in retrospect. They should do self-introspection to assess the economy of Ghana. Because if you have no say you have school said the efforts will invest in Solomon. Fees have been increased by 15%. We know about free SHS. Now we are being made to understand that free SHS is an exercise in facility because you finish secondary school and then you become a dropout. Because you cannot afford to pay money to continue at the university. It is a sikabi wa and can be said the government should rather make appeal to Ghanaians, any well-meaning philanthropy, if they can subsidize for what? Those who cannot afford to pay the university and then those who cannot afford to pay their fees. Right. Or the sikabi wa ma or minor. And Satikano and Sessa Yanfan Koshes National Cathedral. All right. You bet to me they are developing hospitals. You bet to me they are developing schools. You bet to me actually to bad roads now they are there. And also to implement policies that to have direct impact on what? The livelihood of what? The Ghanaian people. To improve the livelihood of what? The Ghanaian people. Who now who say economy no koye, if they are koye, dollar now perform, inflation perform. I mean, at least things are thriving the way Ghanaians want that. Now, we see surplus no there. We say we fancy dying emanyamia. And no there who did. All right. You can you are well go with that, but not at the time. There is a high cost of living in the country, and many Ghanaians are living in abject poverty. Now, what to say? This you see National Cathedral.
All right. Dr. Michael Smatabi, and Edin Kumono, where a scripture prophet was also a theologian, thoughts, Kakra. But I disagree with some of his submissions. Yes. All cannot be perfect before certain things are done.
Oh.
All cannot be perfect because you see, you can't have, let's say we don't have Russia-Ukraine war. Let's say we don't have COVID-19. There will be instances where people who go to the church are going through hardships.
True.
And so we can't say that because of that, we won't commit to certain projects. I disagree with him on that level.
No, Sammy,
that we should have a surplus before we will look at
before
exactly. Therefore,
you see,
the need they want.
And that's why I said
the
you see, biblical
is for what?
Listen, Fatih,
it's for
biblical stuff are not usually logical stuff.
So then why are you here talking?
No, I'm just saying that I disagree with him on the point he made about the surplus. I don't agree to the building of the cathedral now.
But it would make sense if you have
it would
more
make
than
logical
enough.
sense.
Yes.
Why would Jesus say, Obi a efra? Why would he say, what in tissue? So those are things that would not make sense to you. It will make sense to you. I'm talking about the sensibilities in there.
Sammy.
There are things, for instance, as I said, the woman that Jesus said, woman, I can't say, yes, you can say,
come together to come and tell you, say, we need one church that all of us can be going from time to time. Man.
I'm saying that.
It's that.
Yes. I think what we say, Mamia or this guy by the last any. Now, yes, wash our money.
Yes, you catch and say, Bremiska.
One is from Bremiska.
Exactly.
Oh, whatever.
Now,
I'm not sure I mark yourself. I was thinking by force. Una do pay. I don't know if they are asking for money. Una do pay this and so the common man from common. It is your choice. It is your choice. And then the areas you concerns about no. That one we don't agree, but it is your choice to decide. Say now I am going to give 500 out of your money today. You are going to give 500 to the National Cathedral.
Fatih, Sami, this National Cathedral is Babisi. The reason why we have Babisi Cathedral, Bakupen is clear. President wanting to redeem his pledge. Pledge a wire to God. What do I say? Say, only the Bible, no, you say, we are pledge now with this one. So it's a scripture do was a dangerous cry. I say, yeah, very good. But Sammy, the president knows he says redeeming the pledge. No, let us go and look at the president himself, the contribution. We say 200,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, so far, yeah, 200,000.
Ufa Bank of Ghana rate 8.3. It means that president has contributed $24,097 towards the construction of a 450 million edifice.
Yes.
Sammy, when you strike the percentage of the president's contribution, 0.0054%. What about fraction at 27 over 5,000? Sammy, this is how much the person who wants to redeem pledge has contributed. This is how much. This is how much he has contributed. Now they are canon. We are under the burden of huge taxes, heavy taxes. Yes. And after showing this commitment, 24,097, we should come and be using taxpayers' money to continue that edifice. Sammy, we are not saying you shouldn't build. But if you want to build,
look for your resources and build.
Look for your money and
build
the cathedral.
Simple.
0.0054.
I've heard people. No, there's an element which we don't calculate. The structures we pull down.
Yes. Yes.
The structures we pull down. Those structures, their value.
Yes.
We haven't quantified that.
Yes.
The land. If you are going to buy a plot of land at that place.
Yes.
The cost of that land, we haven't quantified it.
No.
And yet, so the cost is more than that. If they like, they should tell us how much those buildings that were on that plot of land, how much, and that 450 will be more than that.
People have to be compensated.
Yes.
And some will see new judicial service school. I hear the cost is about $50 million.
Now,
all of that.
Maybe 80,000. You team printing for that school fees, textbooks, and a basic schools, and printing textbooks.
Hospitals,
Yeah,
I mean,
the 80,000.
and still no bed syndrome. Our hospitals, our Kruma.
Remember, you're not here on the bar.
You could see Plush Cathedral.
All right, yeah, my Oman for Aquaba Fatima, main kind message you from now for the right quarters, Mama. Then King David said to the whole assembly, "My son Solomon, the one whom God has chosen, is young and inexperienced. The task is great because this palatial structure, look at the description, palatial structure is not for man, but for the Lord God." They say, yeah, cathedral, yeah, palatial. "With all my resources, I have provided for the temple of my God." This is David speaking. "I have provided for the temple of my God. Gold for the gold works, silver for the silver, bronze for the bronze, iron for the iron, wood for the wood, as well as onyx for the settings." All of these in large quantities.
Underline the large quantities.
Party, send a response back to where the scripture must go.
Underline the
He
large
provided
quantities.
in large quantities. $450 million. You provided only 200,000 Ghana cedis.
I don't know. $450 million. You provided $24,000.
$24,000.
Yeah.
Is that large quantities?
No.
Is that large quantities? Look. If the board of trustees and His Excellency the President, out of the 400,000 cedis, provide, let's say, 250 million, we will say that yes, they have shown commitment, and based upon that, we want to support.
That's true. $24,000.
Now look at the big churches. Look at the members of the board of trustees. You know, Asofo Kukudamnom was, you know, look at how much their churches were contributing towards this. It tells you they themselves they don't believe in a thing.
Yes.
All that you guys are saying, fine. All the contributions, Sikano, Kakrana, Inyano. Then I did ISCI.
And they are two from one.
Debut. You be man named the idea so far.
I know the idea two from one.
Why has the project stalled?
Concrete works.
No, Sammy, Yibima has not been used in the project so far. Let most of trustees come and tell us if the contribution Ghanaians made, churches made, if they've used it as part of what is there now. Because calculation number so far, the 339 they spent, it doesn't include that figure.
Cathedral
doesn't include that figure.
Not. As to whether you bottom sick or the as to whether no a labor or the
But I mean, let's ask this question.
We don't want it.
Why are Ghanaians
We don't want it.
not participating in the contribution as you would have expected? Why?
But people are still contributing.
No,
those
no,
who want
no.
because I never by force.
You obviously want a certain kind of
now,
response.
so for number one catch Ghana for this number more for music man ko contribute 5,000.
So for this is not their pocket money.
The church money. But I'm telling you that if the churches, the board
don't
of
forget that the churches have their own projects. So
if they mean business indeed for this project, and Kaomo offering boa a year for sorry, your two first offering we are no matter to National Cathedral offering.
Yes, I know.
The board of trustees of the cathedral, they must have an offering bowl in their churches. When we just cut towards the National Cathedral, but they are not doing so.
Sammy, Shadio.
My own bishop, I am surprised.
What do you mean? It's not the bishop's money.
But it's
been a whole president. Ababeka say young contributor. Bishop no ba sorry no beka say yeah the special offering boy is for National Cathedral. Nipa no pan on back to bishop no be ending.
Sammy,
yeah, party. Omo de. Yes. This is not our business.
No, I'm fine.
It is not our business. It is the president's business. He has gone to make a promise. Fulfill your promise. Nobody told him to go and make those palatial one. The president could have chosen to build, let's say, a structure that is within his capacity to build within 2 years.
A tent that 24,000 cars.
No, not 24,000. That one I beg to differ.
Okay.
But I'm saying that the president could have built a church building within 4 years of his tenure.
With the government seed money.
No, with his own money and then the trustees.
No, Nyabotre. What the fund is at 399. 339.
The message Nako.
Sammy. 339. Sammy, if government seed money was the 339 million Ghana cedis, government seed money.
Yes.
Now, all the president, 24 million we peso. Now, Yibimano, Yaba,
It can build something. Yeah, on my penny. We're fulfilling the promise to the God. I ain't him who has him. You need who has him.
5,000 seating capacity. Say churches will come higher.
In order to sell it, you know. Okay, friends, the finance minister can offer it, and your friends, I saw you know. GTV,
yeah.
Now they are trying to let us see the commercial value of a religious
monument
edifice. They are trying to let us see the commercial value. Sisiano, almost commercializing.
That's what I'm telling you. That. The reason why we are
all to make sense to Ghanaians is to commercialize National Cathedral.
And Ghanaians still don't understand.
And they sat on national television and these things were said.
I'm saying that. All these explanations they've brought from God delivering us from civil war to
into all this while the cathedral what was protecting us from the war or any fight?
When I make a choice, with or without a cathedral, and then see war point. Because Obia could see 16,000 wars in the group. It doesn't prevent or stop anything. But what we are saying is that this cathedral, Ghanaians do not understand why we are building it. The only thing they know, and they say the president wants to redeem his pledge. And president's contribution so far towards redeeming this pledge is $24,097. And only assembled that for a $450 million edifice at PCC.
My final message, Emma, maybe I will team and pay. Okay, so sending message say, but couldn't come out with me as of result of bring in there very, very dry. Yeah, to me, for contributing National Cathedral or the contributing National Cathedral, a very mungamu. On farm prepare, no sending me WhatsApp again. Sammy, upon you might be or come roads in America, America. Now, remember, now Tobias and Sambalat today. Were we even told that we are Tobias and Sambalat and those people?
Yes.
The president said that. That we are the naysayers. If you do the right thing, nobody will come and sit here and condemn you. Use your money. That's all. Use your network. After all, some will say the Nehemiah Group. The Nehemiah Group, can they source for international support to build this? Anyway, did the Catholic Church contribute?
But I cathedral,
yes. Experience.
You see?
I was a muku.
And I said the
Catholic Bishops Conference.
Yes.
How you were able to put that?
Catholic Bishop Conference.
There's a pastor, I have forgotten his name. He's got this beard, white beard. You seen that pastor? When you are going to Kumasi,
yes.
Vast land, an individual, and he's building a place for the 31st watch night. Maybe Kumasi, but I may be doing one of them. Ramon, I said the tents,
Basilica,
the number of toilet facilities, lighting. Look,
no,
the stretch of
Kumasi.
No, but the pictures were.
Kumasi, me call Chebi na me share TV.
Hey, Ramon.
Yes.
Look, it's bigger than the National Cathedral.
Yes.
It's bigger than the National Cathedral.
Oh wow! Individual.
It's big.
And I saw somebody there who can advise the government to go and see
and he's building that church.
So you are saying an individual can raise money on his own?
He's building that church.
To build that kind of edifice.
I said, if you see the vast land, it's scary. The land.
And then
it's scary.
That president to me resist it.
Or some white beard be.
So it's not president to me resist it. I'll
look.
And because the project is national in nature.
No, the project is not national in nature. It's a personal pledge. Yes, that's the pastor. That's the pastor. That's the one. I'll definitely find it and I'll share.
$24,097.
Oh, say
so far.
COVID-19 and your impact for it.
But before I say me call you know. But he say sports minister Kasai.
You see at the time also.
Me can't say much. Quick one. Sammy, or the 5.1 million Ghana cedis. Also, you know, dollars no spend here. Sammy, Catherine is on my breakdown. Budget line items, no one by one. And then I say, and as I mean, we must kind of go Sami, na me mo scan na kokromba. Na be catch say oh, ma me 2 million na Sami me using 1.8. Until you do 200. Obeji atum. Say o person hu niam no baako ah uto den jene no uto na tomatoes no uto na nchina no uto na snail no uto na ese hu.
Okay. Yo, Sambalat and Tobias.
Sami taxpayer sika you find dear God this season no.
Mama yan fa dwumade ni si hanom say pay.
Sami do you know Ghana is bankrupt as we speak?
Na
say or junk status.
Finally, remember what Judas said when Mary Magdalene anointed Jesus with the alabaster oil.
What did she say?
It is finished.
What did
And Jesus in the car it is finished with Bible. And Jesus in the car is then Judas in the car is Judas in the car is
message you say meant for me and I say meant for Rastaman.
For you.
Tobias.
Tobias.
Sambalat. The rumor in the end we will get hanged though because that was the fate that we felt them.
Sami.
On that note, you see how say na you share your report now for another edition of the Happy Morning Show. If you enjoyed the show, please do make a date in your report now.
That is our contribution.
It is a national project. It is a national project. Yes. Kenneth Furiata can say, GTV interview, no. Or say we can't intimate me paraphrase, no. Or say intimate and frame who Christopher and yet not demonstrate a Yamasuno in building a cathedral. Yes, me paraphrase, no.
You know that
which mean Castle with Christoni. Now to mean Castle.
Yes,
we all can meet there.
They can also go and meet at.
But all of us can meet at Independence Square.
Yeah.
We can also go and meet.
All of us can meet at Accra Sports Stadium.
Or Otiel or show. What when some now can? Oh, they see
Sami, all Christians can meet at Accra Sports Stadium.
Yes. No, all Christians in no way.
Oh, but you never call. Say you never call. Maybe a Christian, but you are not.
But Papa so na Kumasi Road no there. Yo, on that note, now I didn't tell man kusi. Is Papa no come me akusi na sorry no ho no ma. The number of people mo ba 31st no. I no man kusi National Cathedral ho. Na ne oba a tourist site. No to can now ko ho no akọ National Cathedral. O hwe kwa so. Na nyina.
I say what capital city.
Yo, you ever see Tobias? Nyame poch na obeba adwuma. Ye dey see hanu say. Nyame hira mo nyina. Monye ntoboa. Amomboa National Cathedral.